a story about
Hello.
when you were telling. I
Did
was
it
telling.
drop out?
No, I'm here. You can't hear me.
Uh, I I walked out of Wi-Fi range, I guess.
So does that mean you can't hear me anymore?
No, I'm back.
All right.
I can hear you now.
Good. Oh shit! Fendel's in the house. Fendel's been away for a bit. We haven't seen Fendel in a while. Oh,
He's had some family in town, I know.
oh. Well, I feel better
Uh,
now. I just feel relaxed now.
so
Feels like
there's
home.
that.
All right. Well, I've got a tune for us. I'm gonna play us our opening track, and since we seem to be on par here, good to see you, Fendel. All right, I'm gonna play us our nice fancy little track while we wait. If everybody could tweet the space out, would be muchly appreciated. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
She's in my thoughts, she's in my brain, she's in my heart, she's in my way, she's in my thoughts, she's in my brain, she's in my heart, she's in the way, she's in my thoughts, she's in my brain, she's in my heart, she's in the way, she's in my thoughts, she's in my brain, she's in my heart, she's in the way. I never felt like this before, this before, this before. I never felt like this before, this before, this before. I never felt like this before, this before, this before. I never felt like this before. Inside of her arms is my favorite place. Inside of my arms is where she feels safe. I can't believe all the things that we made. You make me smile everything that you say. You got me asking how much can I take. All of this love makes me feel like I'll break, but this is something I don't want to escape. You have my faith, I want you to stay. She's in my thoughts, she's in my brain, she's in my heart, she's in my way, she's in my thoughts, she's in my brain, she's in my heart, she's in the way. I never felt like this before, this before, this before. I never felt like this before, this before, this before. I never felt like this before, this before, this before. I never felt like this before.
All aboard!
If I were you, I would think about climbing on board.
WX8BK, this is the night train. You heard the conductor. It's time for us to all climb on board. Join us in the lounge car. Find any spot on the train that you would like to hang out and be in and make it yours. Don't worry about gathering tickets because, as always, the trip is on us. I got a little bit tongue-tied there a bit, but I think I'm on it. I think I'm happening now. Our opening track tonight was Like Love by Jay Byrne. And the visuals for it, if you happen to be joining us on YouTube, are by Adelia. It was a great track. Love that tune. Love the Jay Byrne. Always support him. Big friend of the show. My name is Bits, and accompanying me down here running this show is One Wheel Willie. How you doing, Willie?
Great track selection today, man.
You like that? It's one of
Yeah,
my favorites.
love that track.
That's a beautiful song. I mean, it's high up there on. If I had to have a top 5 Jay Byrne picks, it's right up there, like 100%, 100%. I do like it a lot. Beautiful song. How you doing, Willie?
Good, good. Ended the day kind of shitty, you know. You tell people, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. You go on vacation. What do? Exactly what you told them not to. So, looking forward to tomorrow, chewing some fuckers out.
Chewing some waters out? Fuckers? Is that what you said?
Fuckers.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it broke up there. I wasn't too sure what the heck you said there.
Oh,
Boom.
you probably also weren't expecting a curse word from me so early in the show.
No, that's why I had to double check. That's okay. We can curse here. It's the night train. If there are children listening, we do talk about art eventually. So I mean, it's educational, right? You know how sometimes like it's okay and in shape, in really classical art, and if there's nudity or swear words in a really high end theatrical production, that's okay because it's art. So that's what we'll just claim it at. We'll just claim it as that. Every time we drop an F-bomb or anything like that,
we just try to keep it out for the YouTube algos.
Right? That's right. Oh well.
we personally don't care.
No, it's all good, right? That's right.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's all right. We're cool with that, man. I don't think we have a problem with our YouTube algos. We're not.
You got to be on them first, right?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. That's my point. My point.
We gotta get some more people to follow the YouTube.
Yeah. Well, so if anybody in here has the old YouTube, if you're a subscriber if you're signed in with the YouTube, make sure you're a subscriber. Hit it there. I guess once you hit 1,000 subscribers, then you can start monetizing your YouTube. And we aren't even on that at Twitter yet. We got 700, I believe. I don't remember. I was looking the other day. I thought it was 700. Nah, it's probably how many people were following, and then we're probably like 200 followers. No, just kidding. 712. So yeah, we were at 700. I looked. So that's decent.
Right on.
Those are all quality followers as well. 100%.
Yeah, we're too cheap to pay for bots.
Right? And I reject all the ones that try to follow us as well. It's like when you come in and you got like, you're following 14,000 people, but you only have 4 followers. I'm not usually typically following you. just gonna lay that out there. I mean, if that's really how you run your Twitter, sorry.
Yeah.
Speaking of running the Twitter, man. So I finally, so Twitter on the desktop version, they changed to the X, whatever. As soon as they basically said that they were calling it X, because we're still calling it Twitter. I just called it Twitter like how many times just now.
Well, so I have a theory. I have a theory about this. Hope I don't ruin your train of thought.
No,
but,
go ahead.
I think Elon changed it to X so that we could all say that we're in SpaceX. Because right now we're in SpaceX.
Ooh, fire!
Right? So he just wants people to say the word SpaceX a lot.
Okay, well, and regardless whether that's true or not, you heard it here. We've coined it now. I don't know. Maybe somebody else has. I don't listen to every space in a day, but SpaceX. We're in a SpaceX. We're in an X space or a SpaceX.
Yeah.
SpaceX. Okay. X space. Cool. All right.
I don't know, something like that.
So, anyways, no, I like that. I changed my app on my one phone today. I updated it so it changed to the X, and that has been messing me up left, right, and center. Even starting this space, I started the space and I went to tweet it out, and I'm like, oh. Where's my Twitter app? Where's my Twitter app? And then I'm like, wait a minute, I'm on Twitter. Oh, right, the X, the black X. And it's really funny because in file folder mode or whatever the heck it is, when you group together apps on your iPhone, when it's in the tiny little version on my screen, it still shows up as the blue bird. But when you click on the file folder, it has the X. But yeah, it's been messing me up.
Oh, really? The folders haven't cleared the cache out?
I guess not.
To be able to update the imagery inside. That's funny.
Dude, it was messing with me today. Like messing with me.
I was so annoyed with everybody that kept posting things like, oh great, now there's a porn app on my home screen. I'm like, you're an idiot.
It's only one X. How many of those apps you got on your screen there? 3? No.
I'm like, and first of all, it was a porn app before. It'll still be a porn app, no matter what it's called. You could call it not porn. There's still plenty of porn on Twitter.
Is there?
So
it doesn't. I don't know what your algorithm's doing, but that doesn't show up in mine.
There's porn everywhere. It's the internet.
Okay.
Twitter,
yeah. I guess. Yeah. No. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. No. I get it. I get me. There's some people buy my art. Wow. You're selling that with your heaving breasts, but then those are also the ones. Those are the ones. Those are the ones too. When you click on them and you go, oh well, of course, right? There's following, 3,000 people, but only 4 people are following you. So, anyways.
Very, very top of the profile is an OnlyFans link.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Jeez. Okay, I get it.
Sure.
Oh man, I was just outside. I was having a really peaceful moment out there. That's why I played Like Love. I was just kind of in that mood to play that tune tonight because I was outside relaxing just before the show, and there's these 2 birds of prey. I don't know what they are yet. I really need some binoculars so I can get a good look at them, but I live on the edge of a valley that goes down to a freeway, but it's a creek valley, and they hunt every night at about dinner time. They've been hunting for like the last month and a half, and I'm just enthralled with them. And they were really, really hunting over top of my house today, so I got to have some pretty good looks at them. So I'm gonna have to Google that after. But I don't know, it just put me into one of those moods where I was like, man, what's the opening song gonna be, right? And Like Love was just a damn good vibe for. That's why I picked it. That was my hippie moment for the show.
Because of Birds of Prey
Yeah, well, it was cool.
hunting.
It was cool watching nature.
Okay,
It had nothing to do with the hunting.
I didn't quite get Like Love from.
Well, I don't know, because that was the vibe that I was in. I was in the, I was out there absorbing it. My feet, I was barefooted in the grass, sitting in the lawn chair with a glass of wine, looking up at the blue sky, watching these birds. Okay, Willie, thanks for wrecking.
Were the birds making love? I could get there. If not, you know what? We'll just chalk it up to you must have had to have been there.
Oh,
or it's a Canadian.
Oh,
thing.
Willie might be getting cut out. Oh, I think Willie's breaking up. Oh, Willie left. Anyways, this morning there was a couple weeks ago I started getting, or WXAPK started getting some we were being pinned in a couple tweets by this what was it called, music NFT spaces. And so this morning it was really interesting because it's been the last couple of Tuesdays in the morning, and I've been looking, and like the people that run this space, so it's about music, the music conversation, and they have it laid out like it goes on. So it starts at like 8 a.m. my time, which is 7 Pacific. Not that I had to say that, but then it goes on for hours. But the space is like broken up into programs, like, and I wish I could listen to it all. I can't hear it all at work, but it was amazing. But I heard this morning they've done over 200 consecutive spaces. So like that's nuts. They used to do them, I guess, daily, and then the realization was that they just couldn't keep that up, so they did them weekly. But they were celebrating their, sorry, did I say 200? 100th show. I think it was their 100th show since they've been doing it once a week. So that's kind of interesting.
Oh, since they've been at once a week, so over 2 years.
Yeah, yeah. I might have screwed up those numbers a bit. Either way, it was their 100th, and like they've been going for 2 years. So I was really impressed with that. I mean, we've been going just over a year now, almost a year and a half now, I guess. We're getting there.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. But I just thought that was really awesome, really interesting space. I'll have to check them out a little bit more. I was going to pin it up at the top, but it's not working for me.
Was it? Did I hear you right? Was it all music from the blockchain, or?
Well, they talk about it, like it's a discussion. I didn't hear any music played this morning. I only listened for a couple hours, but it's a discussion. Yeah, no, it's not like the WXAPK NF Tunes concept, but it was really cool. Oh, actually, I'm just going to pin it. This is the one from this morning. I'll pin it up at the top if anybody wants to check it out. But it was really cool because, like, from 9:30 to 9:45. He had what was going on, and then like at 10, what was happening. Like it was like all these different people that were coming up. It was brilliant. It's been different over the last few weeks. I was just really impressed. They've been going a long time. Cool. And you and I both know that, even doing once a week for a whole year, it hasn't been a total chore, but it's been very difficult at times.
Yeah,
so kudos.
I mean, it's not difficult to sit up here and bullshit with each other, but it's difficult to, line up artists and keep things interesting and try to keep it fresh, and
especially when we're doing our IRL stuff as well, considering we don't monetize this, we don't make anything off of it,
and to somewhat stay on topic.
Absolutely, yeah. Which I'm
hard part too.
Yeah, 100%. Which I am horrible for. That's what Willie's good for, is bringing us back on topic. Back on topic. We got a good room in here tonight. I'm really happy about it. We're going to have a great conversation in just a few moments with our guest of honor, Creatress. But we've got to give some shout outs. We got Jay Byrne down there. Thank you very much for creating our opening track that we played tonight. Fendel down there, of course, another wonderful musical talented man that is a friend of the show. Sister Sage down there as well. And hang on, I got to get my screen up here. We have Abel as well, and D down there. I thought there are people coming in and out quick, so it was changing quick. But yeah, thank you very much. And of course, we've got 2 unknown listeners listening on the web down there with us as well. Appreciate that as well. Thank you very much for everybody giving us your time tonight. This is the Night Train. We're here every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And speaking of that as well, next week, next Tuesday, the Night Train, the guest is going to be One of One Neo. Will be our guest next week on the Night Train. 9 p.m. Eastern, we'll be here. So if you want to come back again and visit us, if you like what you hear tonight and we don't offend you and we don't chase you away, come and check us out again. We're always here. And of course, the spaces are always recorded. They stay on Twitter or X for a little while, but they all are also eternalized on YouTube as well. And usually on YouTube, I'll be clicking around. If we're talking about art pieces, I'll hopefully be putting them up on the screen if I'm keeping in tune with it, but that doesn't always happen as well.
As you mentioned that, you need to load the spatial.
What's that?
Go to Creatress's Linktree and load her spatial.
Okay, yeah, I'll make sure I do that.
For tonight's conversation.
Gotcha. I'll make sure I do that. What else did I have to talk about? You were Pop Lazarus. Our homie Pop Lazarus has been popping up on the old X machine.
Yeah, he's one of those, he never really disappears, but he's kind of infrequent as far as like when he posts things. And he posted the other day a work in progress of the Seinfeld chase piece, George, which I thought was really cool. And he also posted a piece that he did that he's drawing of Greg. I don't know the number sequence after it, but if you guys know who Greg is on Twitter, he's a parody account. Pretty funny. So I thought that was pretty funny for Pop Laz. Good to see him out and about and around in the scene.
Absolutely, always good to see him out. I was going to say, and last week we had our guest. Our guest was Texadelic and the Backstage Passengers, which Willie and I are a part of, and that was a really fun event. And Texadelic has been kicking it into high gear. We inspired him last week, and the Backstage Passengers and Texadelic is getting some real cool mechanics on the go and getting us going, which is really awesome. He's always a very busy guy, but if anybody wants to listen to that space, you can check it out on YouTube, or it's still on Twitter here as well. Probably still pinned to the top of my WX8BK account, but anyways. What else did I have? Was there something else you wanted to, I was supposed to remind you of, or was it Pop Lazarus? No, you had something else you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so I just want to put like a, I don't know, PSA or a good vibe out there for everybody, I guess. So I was just cruising Reddit the other day, as I tend to do sometimes, and I come across this post, and I will just read the post word for word. Well, minus one or two things. It says, "Old teacher. This is probably a weird one, but I will try it anyways. I had a second grade teacher back in the early 90s at blank elementary. At any rate, she changed my life even in second grade, and I have always wondered about her or if she's even still on Earth. Blank, blank, ring any bells with anyone?" And I went, "That's my mom." So I contacted her, and I was like, "Yeah, that's my mom." She was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Yeah, she's doing great. She's retired. We just got done fishing for a week." And she was like, "Oh my God, thank you so much," and blah, blah, blah. And your mom was just, so great to me and really helped me through some hard times and this and that. I was like, well, that's really good to know. So I just wanted to kind of read that for everybody and remind you, like, no matter what you're doing in life, you never know who you're going to impact and for how long.
Right? That's awesome.
And just by the way she says in the 90s, I'm like, she's got to be my age. She's got to be 40s, late 30s, early 40s. So she's been holding that for the last 30 years.
That's cool.
How much my mom has helped her. And,
yeah, that's super
mentally
awesome.
And things like that. So
that is super awesome.
Share that with everyone.
I'm happy you did that. That is positivity. I mean, we talk about that all the time on here. Like, you never know when you're going to make a difference. I mean, I know I've said it millions of times. Sometimes I'll do something stupid and goofy or say something for no apparent reason, but you never know when you're going to make that difference in somebody's life or somebody's day. I mean, especially in teachers making a difference. They make a difference every day, man. They got a hard job. They got a hard job, especially if I think about how I was when I was in school. And it's like, man, I probably was the one that caused teachers to have that little flask of whiskey in their freaking drawer. No, that's cool, man. That's a really dope story, and that's a good positive vibe. I really dig that a lot. That's really awesome to hear that. And was your mom happy about that to hear that?
Yeah, and she knew exactly who it was
Oh,
too.
of course, right?
She
Typical
she
damn
was
good
like she was like,
teacher.
is that so and so? I'm like, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, that's really awesome. Well, good for her. Good for both of them. And
So yeah, I thought that was fun.
that's dope. That's dope. Yeah, actually, the last thing I wanted to mention that I was just thinking about, here we go from positive vibes to just something random. I watched just before we get on to our guest who's been waiting very, very patiently. Um, I watched a little mini documentary on auto tune yesterday. And for those of you that don't know, if you think of Cher's song Believe from back in the 90s, she used auto tune on it. T Pain, if you know the T Pain's famous for.
I say I always immediately think of Jay-Z, the death of autotune.
I've never heard that one.
Oh,
But it was really interesting that auto tune in the music industry was kept a big, big secret for the longest time. I won't say the longest time, for years though. Like it was a program that a lot of recording studios had, but they kept it very, very quiet using it, right? And then like when I can't remember what the song before Cher was that used it's just eluding my mind. I didn't write these down, but when Cher used it, they were like, hey, like in the industry, they're like, hey, maybe you should like keep that quiet. Like, you just like went deep into that. Like, you shouldn't be really doing this. And so when they were writing articles
yeah,
about
because she used it in like the T-Pain way of like tweaking it.
yeah, like, well, the full on, like, I mean, prior to that, most people that were using autotune just had the settings very minimal, right? So it just fixed very minimally, and it was like casual. But then you can crank the knob up and do that automatic real time pitch thing where it's like literally picking by the seconds, it's picking different tones that are coming out, so it's auto tuning all over the place, right, making you sound like the robot basically. But so then with Cher's Believe, when they were doing the articles and people were asking questions, like they basically, the guys like, oh, it was a vocoder, and we put it through these things, and this is what we did, right? And they didn't say that it was auto tune. A vocoder is another very famous cool thing where it's like actually a tube that you stick in your mouth, and whatever you're playing, whether it's a guitar or keyboards, the audio goes through that tube into your mouth, and you just
Oh, Frampton.
yeah, Peter Frampton, yeah, killer example of it.
Okay.
Guns N' Roses also, Welcome to the Jungle, I think was when they released. Anyways, so then T Pain was looking for something new to like pep up his tunes that he was making. So I guess there was this ad for like one of these old school 90s CDs. Back in the day, they used to have all these compilation CDs, and it always played on this radio station over and over that he listened to. And there was this one, I think it was Jennifer Lopez, I think he said it was, that her voice just sounded strange in this one clip they played all the time. So he made it his mission to try and find this. So he was reaching out to all of his hacker friends and everybody he knew that can get him like hacked versions of all these different music software, because he was eternally looking for what this sound was. And then like after hours and hours and hours of like trying every plugin and all of this software, he finally came up with it. And then he cranked it up and he's like, yeah, this is it. So he started using it. But then I didn't know this, is that people eventually, Usher was the first one that went to T-Pain and said, yo, dude, you effed it up for everybody in the music industry. Like doing this with the auto tune and bringing it out like that, like you've effed it up for everybody in the industry. And then like all these people jumped on him, and then for 4 years, I guess he went into a really deep depression over it. Like he's like, did I really? I fucked up music? Like did I fuck music? But anyways, it was an interesting story. I thought it was kind of cool that the music industry, like as a whole, kept it to a little quiet secret. But anyways, I had to go off on that rampage on that. It was really cool.
I mean, of course they did, though. You don't
Right?
want your secrets getting out. You don't want people knowing
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you can't actually sing.
Right? No, exactly. And yeah. So, anyways, I mean, but it's a
But then
tool.
everyone can sing.
But it's funny because it's like a tool, and it really brings us around if if we want to
It's
come back.
gatekeeping, and it's not funny. It's gatekeeping,
But
and that's what Web3 fixes.
that's right.
We hope we're trying to accomplish.
Especially if you're on Tezos, right? Big friendly Tezos. Anyways, I
Plenty of
think
gatekeeping in Web3
we've
still.
definitely made our guest wait long enough. with our ramblings,
Uh,
but we had to talk. Oh, you
yeah,
got something else?
one more quick thing in Web3 news.
Sure.
Our friends over at Zero X Thulu have decided that they are shutting down shop,
Really?
and yeah, and they released a statement on Twitter the other day from the founder or whatever. So if you want to know why and all that, go check that out. But
Oh, I'm gonna have to check. I'm gonna
um,
have to look that up.
yeah, that was one of the like that's one of the only like projects I was ever really like a part of that has actually shut down. So actually like calling it quits.
That's interesting. Well, I guess it's better than just shutting off the lights one afternoon and never coming back the next morning. That's terrible. That's well, I'm gonna have to read that. I'm gonna definitely read into that and check it out because that was a pretty interesting project they had going on. Hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
and
bummer.
they had some great drops from Hers and Empress and
Yeah.
Wondermundo and a lot of
Yeah. Wonder Window was what
people in
the
the space. So
yeah. Well, damn. Well, they gave it a good go at a really shitty time. So I mean, kudos to them for lasting as long as they did. Kudos to everybody in here that's running any kind of a project or trying to sell art or doing anything. If you're still kicking around and doing any kind of sales or anything at all, good for you and thank you for sticking around. But if you decide to check out, we don't hate you for it because it's a pretty tough world out there right now. But here we are in this nice, warm, friendly space on the night train. And with that, I guess it's time we should bring up our guest of honor. She's I don't know. It's probably still 6 in the morning there or something like that. Being on HST, I'd like to welcome up to the floor. You can unmute yourself if you want. This is our guest of honor, Creatress.
Hey,
Hello.
yeah, everybody. How are you?
Awesome. How are you doing today?
Fabulous. It's not quite as early as you think, but it is 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon, so it's that
Wow,
beautiful, beautiful time of the day.
dude.
oh, see, we could have made her wait another hour or two.
Right? I know. You just like, man. So you're on Hawaiian Standard Time. Yes, you're in Hawaii.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn. I love that when I went to Hawaii once, and I loved that. It sucked when I wanted to go out late into the evening, and be night clubbing and everything like that because it was really super late for me, but it was early there. But I dug the whole thing that it's like by the time I woke up, there was still lots of day left. Good vibe out
Yeah,
there.
it's nice. It's nice. I like waking up and everybody's already kind of started the day. I can just kind of catch up on the news and join everybody and I get to stay up late for these talks because I actually don't stay up late at all. I go to sleep at like 9 p.m. most days, like by 9 p.m. So I mean, it's late night talks for you guys, but it's perfect for me.
Hey, I old guy it up every once in a while too. You betcha, man. 9 a. Oh, I'll tell you what. At Friday, I went to bed at 7:45. My dog was looking at me. He was like, "Are you kidding me? No. What are you doing? What are we doing in here? This is not the way this is supposed to go." Just do it. It's all good. Thank you for giving us your time. Appreciate it very, very much. And yeah, definitely the time zone thing works out very, very well. We're not going to cut too deep into your evening, and you still got time. It's awesome. I like it. It works out really, really well. Um, if you don't mind, just give us a little introduction and tell us who you are.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so anyone who I haven't met yet, I'm Creatress. Sara E. Mora is my given name. I'm an artist from Mexico originally, and yeah, just based in Maui right now. And I'm a multidisciplinary artist, so I'm all about trying new things, learning as much as I can. And kind of incorporating all of the skills I've learned in my like I don't know over 10 years of creating art. And right now I'm focused on VR. I do 3D sculptures and I make them in VR. Most people use a computer, but I just that hasn't really appealed to my creating style. I'm used to being more hands-on. Kind of started with ceramics. That was my first kind of exploration into sculpture. So, yeah, I make 3D sculptures mainly, and then I paired them with performance art as well, and music. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm at the intersection of those three things: tech, art, music, performance. I guess that's four things, but yeah, thanks for having me.
I wasn't gonna say, but I was counting. I can definitely count up to five. That's amazing. Well, yeah, I like that you said too. Well, I'm just those things, just those four things. Most of us are trying to figure out our phone. You're deep into it. That's amazing. That's really cool. So you said over the last 10 years, in your that you've been creating art. So were you an art? Were you not an artistic person when you were younger, or like a kid? A
Yeah.
kid, rather. I would like to say. Not that I'm saying you're old.
Oh, no, I was artistic, I'd say, and creative. I was making, mud sculptures and sand sculptures early on, just entertaining myself however I could. We didn't have a whole lot of, money for toys when I was young. So I think it was partly, just out of need, and partly just because I was like creative. And so were my friends, we would do things like that together. But yeah, I was a creative child as well. I guess I just mean like more highly focused art making, and finally kind of thinking of myself as an artist, in a more true sense to what I believe an artist is anyway. That is obviously up for interpretation, but and I guess I was, now that I think about it, it's longer than 10 years. When I started actually paying more attention to art was when I was in school and around sixth grade, when I actually had an art class, like specific art class, and specific ceramics class aside from that. And then I had video production as well, all in that same year. So it was all these different types of art making. And then there was also dance, Balinese dance to that. And then there was a Balinese orchestra, which is also called gamelan, right? And so I learned to play the instruments. I learned to play the gong. I learned to do the dance. I, got dressed up in the traditional, you know, like performed. Also created my own like video thing. And then also made like paper mache and ceramics, all in sixth grade, right? So that was just like the tip of the iceberg, right? Like just kind of cracking the lid on things further. And then obviously in high school, did some art classes, took APR, and that's when I realized I wanted to continue. Like you know what? If I have to go to college, because we've all been told we have to go to college. At least I was being told that in the early 2000s. And so then I realized art was like the only thing that I could really do and be actually interested in learning in college. So that's what I ended up doing. So if I think back, I mean, that was, I guess, in 2009 when I officially started school and started learning. So it's a bit more than 10 years, but yeah, it's been a long time. And I think it's going to keep evolving over time.
Sixth grade was pivotal for you.
Yeah, it really was. The school I went to was actually called the Museum School, and it was inside this like closed down museum in San Diego, downtown San Diego, which is just wild to think about in retrospect. But that was the most creative and like out of the box school. It was a charter school, so shout out to the charter school system for having just different types of schools for kids.
I mean, that would pump any kid up, right? Do you want to go to the museum school? Yeah, I want to go to the museum school, right?
No,
Right?
I
Yeah.
bet that shit gets boring after a month though.
What, creating?
Like no, like being in like being in school in a museum kind of thing.
Yeah, but did you hear all the stuff that was offered to her in grade six, man? Were you even
Oh
listening?
yeah, I
Damn,
mean
Willie.
yeah, that's I mean that's nice.
Well,
That's
I,
but that could be offered in an abandoned warehouse too. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Like,
All right.
yeah, the
Wow.
novelty of the museum, I bet, wears off pretty quickly.
I don't think I'm going to say much more tonight. Willie's really picking my shit apart tonight. So that's
I'm
cool.
sorry, man. I
No,
talked
it's
to you in
no.
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
I know. I'm bugging you, buddy. I'm bugging you. You're on the par. You're on par tonight. You're with it. That's good. Um. Well, that's yeah. No, that's really cool. I didn't get like the offerings that you were talking about that you had in sixth grade. I mean, I really didn't get that until I was into grade 10, grade 9 maybe I think. And so that's really cool that you had so many avenues and it helped propel you. And you were like, yeah, let's go. Um.
Yeah, super super lucky. My mom kind of went out of her way to find me like a very unique school because I could have gone to just like a regular, middle school. And I actually did that year for like a couple days. I remember I went to the local neighborhood school, and then I guess she got a call, kind of like a week into the school year, like, hey, we actually got a spot, and so she switched me. And that place, I mean, that school had only like 80 kids, and it was only third to sixth grade, so it was very specific. But yeah, I think that changed everything.
Wow. Only grade 3 to grade 6. That's wild. That's a diamond in the rough. That school. Does it still exist? Do you know?
Yeah, it still exists, and I think that they've put on more grades, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, it's pretty sweet. I feel very lucky to have gotten to do that so early on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um. So when did you when did you discover the blockchain and NFTs? Where did that start popping into your life? Obviously not grade 6.
Yeah, a little bit later, in the eighth grade. Just kidding. Yeah, maybe 2016, 2017. I have to actually look back. And that's when I first bought like my first token, I guess, or coin. And I don't remember what it was. I think it might have been XRP, one of those on Kraken. So that was my first kind of like dipping the toe and putting some money in there to see what I could do trading tokens, or coins,
So
whatever you want to call them.
were were you coming from like a trading standpoint then? Like were you trading stocks or something before that, and like, oh, let's see what's going on in crypto, or like, like like how did you find out about crypto and XRP to be able to even make that decision?
Yeah, that's a good question. I had a friend named Dave actually that kind of got excited about it. And I guess he was one of our brewmates at the time, and so he like immediately told us about it and was excited. And then prior to that, I had a friend who had told me about some website he was using to order sketchy things. The
Oh,
Silk
you got
Road.
a dark web friend, Silk Road friend.
Um, yeah, well, back when Bitcoin started, right? Or not like when it started, but around that same year, like 2016, um, I just remember one of my friends mentioning buying Bitcoin to have to buy things on this specific website. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, weird. Didn't think much of it, but then my friend Dave, like soon after, was talking about the coins, and he's like, oh, Bitcoin was like this much, and I was like, oh, okay. So I didn't buy any Bitcoin. I should have, but I invested in these other like very
Shit coins.
inexpensive, exactly, shit coins, if you will. Um, and then I kind of left them alone for a while, and then in 2021 in January, I was on Clubhouse. Well, a little bit actually before 2021, when the Doge craze happened. You remember when Doge was on SNL? I kind of got back into it before the SNL, you know, drop off actually, because it didn't actually go up. It went up until SNL, and then it went down halfway through if you guys are watching. I was watching.
Oh
So
yeah, I
I
was
was in
watching.
there. Yeah, I was in there, and then Clubhouse came out. I went on there, and then NFTs were like all anyone was talking about. So that's when I got like re-pulled into the ecosystem on the art side. Before then, it was more token focus, and then I realized there was an art component that could be included now. So yeah, I never looked back.
So when you discovered that there could be the art side of it as well, were you in your real life? Were you doing? I say real life. Obviously, this is still real life. But were you doing art and trying to make a living at art before this?
Yeah, that's I mean that's been the goal since I finished school was try to make a living doing what I studied, right? I think that's the dream for anybody. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, and January 2021 was right before the pandemic, so maybe no, that was right after midway through the pandemic, right as we were starting, kind of. So I had been out of work throughout the pandemic. I got laid off like everybody right at the beginning. So I had been focusing more on art and figuring out a way that I could, make a living that way. So NFTs came in like right at that kind of perfect moment for me.
It was meant to
So
be.
so what kind of art were you pursuing or making before you found NFTs? Were you already doing VR art at that point, or were you doing something else?
I was doing mainly physical sculpture. Um, let's see, in January 2021, I had just gotten my Oculus, right? So at the same time as I get Clubhouse, I get the Oculus. I minted my first NFT, I believe, was in April. So I was using the Oculus a good 3 months or so before I was like, you know what, I found I found a way to make something that I think looks cool, that I feel comfortable minting. And so yeah, it was relatively new for me, sculpting in VR when I got started. Um, but I also kind of wanted to mint things as a kind of like a diary, like an on-chain diary. And not just that, but to see my progression over time. And I think if anyone were to look through my work, they would probably see just like a nice smooth progression of quality. Yeah, yeah.
That's very cool. When did you? I don't want to jump too far. Whatever. We can always go back to other things. But I wanted to say so. So when you got your Oculus and you started doing the VR creating, when did you? How long did it take before you decided, hey, I can put a video screen behind me and play some music and like bust this out at live events?
Oh, well, it didn't take long because as soon as I first started doing it at home, I wanted to show my son and my partner who I lived with. I mean, live with still, but we lived in a different home back then. So, but yeah. Anyway, so I found a way to cast it onto the TV, in our living room. And just for context, the TV in our living room is actually just connected to the computer. It's like an iMac connected to a screen, a TV screen. It was really easy. I just was able to pull up the Oculus page and cast to the TV so they could see. And I was like, isn't this freaking amazing? And they're just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. And so they were my first kind of like willing or unwilling audience, if you um, because they just see me, they've seen me make art, and they know I'm obsessed. So it's not as like impressive to them, I think, as it is to most people. But yeah, that was the start, and then the next thing was just finding a place that would like trust me with like their screen at an event, to do this thing that they never heard of, and that I can barely explain myself. So yeah, that's kind of how that went.
So where was that first event at?
Yeah, that was in New York, November 5th, 2021. So during NFT NYC, and that was the first NFT event that I ever went to. So, yeah, it was at a satellite event.
Very cool.
Absolutely, it is. Um, when you go into those events, do you have a pre idea of what you want to do as far as what you want to create? And then let's talk about it, because also when you're doing the performance piece side of it, you also use music as well, that I believe I've read. So, like, do you pre-make your playlist and have an idea about what you're going there to do, or is it kind of a little bit of just before the show you figure it out, or as you go?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Yeah, so I do have music that comes with my performance. I very carefully curate the playlist to have kind of like a start slow, build up, and then come back down. Journey. And I usually have to I make a new playlist every time because I think I know my music changes, my music taste, my mood, and then I know that each event has a different type of energy, so I try to have that in mind when I'm creating the playlist. Also, practically speaking, each event has a different time allotment, I guess, that they give me. Sometimes it's 15 minutes, sometimes it's 30. It's been I just recently did an hour one, and so yeah, I make it specifically timed to that, to that time slot that I have. And then in terms of the sculpture I make, I don't go in there with a plan, at least not as to what I want it to look like. I go in there with a concept. And so the concept is going in there and being a receiver, and an interpreter for the energy in the room. And so the energy involves, right, everybody's heartbeats, the electromagnetic pulse that everybody is putting out, right, because that can actually be felt by others, right? How you show up, what mood you're in changes your heart rate, and therefore the frequency that you're emitting, right? So I try to go into it very calm and ready to receive and reflect. So the sculpture is meant to be a reflection of everybody in the space, not just everyone, but also like the music and the energy of the music as well.
So
That's,
do you,
that's yeah.
do you have some kind of like super cool way of like monitoring other people's heartbeats in the room, or you're just going off vibe and energy?
Yeah,
Like
I'm
like
just
you're
I'm
like
going
you're
off
just
the
feeling it.
energy.
You're just in there.
Yeah, and sometimes what I've been able to do now is with the new headset I have, it has a pass through feature, right, where I can actually, instead of seeing my 3D environment, I can see the people around me. Um, and so now throughout the performance, I'll switch that so that I can literally see them in front of me, and I can create something that's overlaid
Super cool.
over my like live view of them. So and then now I'm also, this latest performance I did, I asked everyone who's here, and I asked multiple times, and so people were prompted to say their names, and so I could also kind of take that into consideration. I have this one artwork that I'll pin, where you can actually see some of the names from the people that were there, and usually I hide the names, but in this case I left them more visible. Just felt right. But yeah, it's a collaborative experience, and I'm trying to find more and more ways to bring people um, to be more part of each one.
So as you're creating playlists and things like that, like my thought is, how long before you start just producing your own music? You're like, screw these songs. I'm just gonna make my own music and just basically become a DJ.
Oh my gosh, what a wonderful question. Yeah, okay, the thing is I already have created music before, not on like a professional level. I did take a music production class in like 2015 or something like that. I didn't do well. I was too distracted. Actually, no, it was in 2011, and that was the year that I became pregnant. So that went out the window. But I did manage to make one song and publish it to SoundCloud. So that's out there. Um, but not only that, I do create soundscapes for my for a lot of my videos. Um, but those are made with AI music tools, so that's not the same. I'm like a baby music person. More out of just need for my for my own content. So, um, but yeah, I mean, being a DJ, there's a lot to it. I know there's a lot to it. I have been paid to DJ actually professionally. Um, a couple times just for corporate events, nothing like a music festival or anything. So, like I said, I feel like I'm a baby there, but yeah, I would like to, one day get back into that. I love all of that. I obviously put together playlists, and that's a big part of being a DJ. So I'm halfway there. But more than that, I would prefer to collaborate with a DJ. Like my ideal scenario at this point in time would be to be like a special guest on a DJ tour, and they bring me on, and I make live art on stage while they DJ. Like I'm down for that. That sounds a little easier than me like doing the whole thing. But one day I'd be down to do the whole thing too. Yeah.
You are hitting transitions so well that I feel like I already gave you my questions. My next question was already gonna be, is that a picture of you with Paris Hilton on your webpage? And have you like did she like DJ a show for you or something?
Oh my gosh. See, that's what I would like. That would have been the next level. But yeah, it is her. It's not just a wax sculpture. Um, so that was she actually hired me to do a performance at one of her events. So she debuted the what she called the 11/11 Summit, Innovation Summit, on 11/11, 2022, a most special day. And yeah, I got to do the opening. So I did a 30-minute performance, and that was like as people were coming in to the event. And as soon as I finished, her and Randy Zuckerberg had like a little fireside chat on stage. And yeah, it was kind of like insane. I mean, I don't know, the screen, the production people, like the way that they were able to, show my art as a square and then also stretch it out to fit their whole screen. Like as I was performing.
Oh, do we lose her?
I don't know.
Well, faded out. It's all right. We had a little gray moment there. I was just pulling up this piece, this Mint 11/11 piece. I was going to ask her if she created that for that.
She just said yes. Or that's probably the piece that was created live, would be my guess.
That's what I'm wondering. Well, I guess we'll find out again if we can get her back in here.
Is it one of those things where
she might be having a Willy moment where
yeah, she can hear us.
She's like, which is what's happening. If that is the case, definitely feel free to drop out and come back in.
Well, let's do this. Let's just remove her from speaker and see if that works.
Oh, Willie's kicking you out now. While we're taking this,
I hope I didn't screw that up.
This is probably one of the biggest. No, that's
I think
fine.
You can bring him back up, right?
Sure, you should be able to just send her up that again. Oh, she dropped out. You're going to come back in. Anyways, good moment to stop and reset the room a little bit. We're talking to Creatress. Had a little bit of a technical difficulty there. Give a shout out down there. We got Quantum Variant down there. Thank you for joining us. Laser Ludube, always happy to have you. Fendel down there. Poke Shaman with Wagme Wines down there. Thanks for coming in, homie. Tater Tots down there. Max Utton. Thank you for being here, sir. Sister Sage Herbs Abel down there, thank you very much for joining us. We are talking to Creatress. Hopefully she pops back in. We're just having a little technical difficulties, which is really the first real major technical difficulty we've had with X Spaces in a while. So I think we're doing pretty good. We're all right. She'll be back. She'll
Well, it's
come.
the first one we've had with SpaceX.
SpaceX, yes.
Yeah, we used to have a ton of problems with Twitter, but SpaceX, this is the first problem.
Welcome to SpaceX.
SpaceX gets their ships in line.
Did you notice that? Just while we're kind of killing time here, did you notice that when you go? I don't know if you've updated the app or not yourself, but now it's just oh, what does it say? I wanted to say it doesn't say tweet anymore. It says
post.
Post, right, repost or post.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I don't want to mess around with it too much.
Post.
Oh, way to go, Will. You kicked our guest out. That's all right. We'll be back in here. I was hoping Denver Donkey would have been in here. I mean, he's a big VR, AR fan. He definitely could have had some conversations. I know you're gonna totally grill her on the new Apple headset, but we won't get right into that when she gets back.
I'm telling you, like everything, I'm like, oh, there's a transition. I'm like, well, let's just see where this goes.
It's good.
Let's keep going. Let's keep walking this dog.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
Dog.
This is it's very interesting. I mean, to really think about it, that, you know, I mean, she was into crypto, and then went, oh, and now we can do this NFT art thing. Let's go. I like that. It's a little bit of a different story, honestly. I mean, typically when we're talking to our guests, who are artists, usually we don't, the story doesn't go that way. It's always like, I'm an artist, I've been doing art, and then somebody gave me a couple Tezos and said, here, go mint something and jump on it. It's not typically usually, oh, I was involved in crypto, a friend got me into crypto named Dave. I like that her friend's name was Dave, because Dave is usually that one. It's like when you're keeping somebody incognito. Well, I'm going to talk about a friend, but just for this particular fact, we're just going to call him Dave. As I do, as I do air quotation marks, but you know, I guess there are.
Dave's not here, man.
Dave's not here, but you know, there are artists that are named Dave, right? Yeah, no. Well, she hasn't popped back in yet. I'm scared. She is out there in Hawaii. I mean, it's what 4:00 there now. I mean, it's getting late. 4 in the afternoon.
It's not 4:20 though. So.
No, it's not. No, this isn't dropped off in that. Man, if I was living in Hawaii hitting the beaches like that all day, it would be 4:20 all the time. I think it should be 4:20.
That's the problem with living in Hawaii, yeah.
Right? It'd be too casual.
Yeah.
Too casual. And that's the thing.
It'd be hard to get things done.
You know, it would be. I agree with that, because it's, I mean, when we go visit places, when you go on vacation to different countries or different parts of your own country, Hawaii or what have you, it's nice to go there on vacation. And you're like, yeah, this is a good vibe. This is a good vibe. But it's like, you know what? If you live there, you know, you would have to realistically live. There would be times like, you know, when I'm in southern Italy hanging out, you know, for 3 weeks doing nothing but trying to figure out which beach I'm going to. I mean, the reality is everybody down there is, you know, it'd be so nice to live here. Well, if I lived there, I'd still have to go to work. Then I'd just be working in the heat, wishing I was at the beach. Just like if you lived in Hawaii.
Yeah, unless you're like, you know, a tour guide of something. You know, you're like living in the Eastern Sierras as a fishing guide, just fishing all day.
Right? That'd be all right.
Thing, you know, then you're like, oh, you know, I gotta go to work.
That's a heck of a life.
Go fishing.
That's a heck of a life. I have a buddy that's actually a fishing guide. He's been a fishing guide for over 20 years now, and yeah, he lives the life. He used to live here in the big city, fishing on our Trophy River that runs right through the middle of our city of almost, you know, 2 million people. And then he's like, man, I hate the city. So then he moved out to the mountains, to this place that has the Elk River, which is an amazing world-renowned bull trout fishing river. And he's like, I make $40,000 less a year. He's like, but I live here, right? Like, and he comes fishing where my cabin is. He comes fishing on my lake on his spare time. So that really excites me, because it's like, man, if I got a fly fisherman who's a fly fishing guide that comes and hangs out and fly fishes on my lake in his spare time, that's dope. And Willie just left me. Am I talking too much? Are we not interesting? Willie, you left me too? All right, I'm going to have to add you as a co-host. We're just having all kinds of issues tonight. God forbid that people have to listen to me and Willie all night. Although, it's not too bad. She hasn't even DM'd, so I don't know if her phone died or what's happened. Willie, did I send you a new? I'll send you a new co-host invite. We'll see what's going on. Next week here on the Night Train, if you want to join us next week, folks, we have One of One Neo will be our guest next week. So if you want to join us for that, and then we are going to have Dehi Sense coming up possibly the week after that, or maybe the week after that. So we got lots on the Night Train coming up for you. Always. Even when we think we're running low and we can't find new guests, it always turns into a big plethora, a fountain of artists all of a sudden come out of the woodwork, man. And I'm blessed to have each and every one of them. Now Willie's requesting to be up here, so should we let him in? Yeah, we should let him in. Got you in there, Willie. Laser Lou can't create in the closet if we're just talking all night. Are you there? Okay, you can bleep up.
Yeah.
Yo.
It was doing that thing where you'd send me a request and I accept it, and then it would say canceled.
Huh.
I didn't cancel it. Well, see what happened was I tried to send her a DM and there she is.
Yeah, I just sent her a request.
And it booted me. So
how dare you, Willie? How dare you re-invite our guest of honor, Willie?
Yeah, that's what I get.
That's all right.
Not anytime I send a DM to someone, it automatically like blocks me and makes me go through CAPTCHA of the 14 dice. I don't know if you've seen the 14 dice yet. Oh,
no.
It's a tough one.
Why does it send you to a CAPTCHA? I've never seen that in my life.
Don't know. Anytime I DM someone like new, like if I try to DM someone new, it automatically.
Oh, that's wild, man. All right. Well, she's back.
Probably because I've got 14 different VPNs, and depending on which computer or phone I'm on, and it's routed all over the world.
Willie's the shady guy. We'll talk about that later. Are you back with us, Creatress? Should we call you Creatress, or did you want us to call her? Oh.
Well, there's no way I'm pronouncing her by the name she told us, because she said it way too elegantly for me to say.
I know, right? And that would just make you feel like a damn fool to mess that up.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try to say that.
No, it's cool, man. You're American. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah,
just do that.
I can call you y'all.
I thought it was. I'll have to ask if she can come up. She's still not unmuting, so I don't know if she's still having problems. But that's all right. We can blab on a little bit longer. I was gonna ask her because at first when I saw her name, I thought it was just Sarah. And it was a fancy way of saying it or spelling it. And then when she said it, I'm like, oh my God, I did your real name no justice. No justice at all. Laser Lou's probably creating some whack shit right now in the closet because we're not invoking his creative juices enough. Oh, the AR department's in here now. Hey, AR department down there. Thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate that. The Chick Threes.
Oh. Speaking of, while we wait for Creatress to unmute and talk to us, she must still be having problems.
I wouldn't unmute and talk to us. I would just, she had a chance and she ran. Look, she just ran. Damn it.
I did have an update from last week. So we did have to put our dog down last Wednesday. It was up in the air on Tuesday. The air department was at the emergency vet all night, and then the next day we ended up having to put her down. So it was a rough week.
Yeah, dude, that's really crappy, and I'm very sorry for you guys' loss. It's unfortunate. Lots of good years.
Tough.
There's lots of good puppers up there though. In the next life. That's what I always say.
Yeah, that was my first dog though.
Yeah, really?
She was 15.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. So she's been around for a while.
Yeah, man. That's all good stuff. 15 years, it's funny because I read something the other day. I mean, I got my dog and I love him very much. Like, he's my world. Like, especially over the last year, he's like, that dog is the one that gives me every reason to be around and to do things, and it gives me some kind of structure. And that I was reading one thing, like a person was like, you know, at Max, you have 15 summers with this dog. And I'm like, damn, why you say that?
I know, man.
Right? No, my dog's gonna inherit everything I have.
See, when we first got her, the air department tried to tell me, "Oh, 15, 16 years. I go, no, 6, 8 years max. And then we're putting her down. Like, I can't live that. I can't deal with pain an extra 8 years. And
Next
Sure
thing,
enough,
next thing you
about
know, it
15.
Willie. Next thing you know, it Willie's a big suckhole, and he's like, "I can't move, honey. The dog's in my arms."
Oh, no, I already do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right on.
No, I got the dog. Sorry.
Yeah, and but you guys, you still have the puppers.
Yeah, we have her son as well too. He's 13.
What?
He's almost he's in a lot better health than she was.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm sorry to hear that, man. But glad, next life we'll all join up. We'll be up there hanging out. And
Yeah.
even in the next life, I'll be up there, and Willie, you'll be like, "Oh, look, here's the puppers," and I'll be like, "Oh, right on." And then it'll bite my hand, and I'll be like, "Damn it! Even up here, they're mean little bastards.
Dachshunds.
Dachshunds are mean up here too. For frick's sakes!"
Yeah, they're like one person. Okay, hopefully Creatress is back now.
Hello, mic check.
Hello.
Oh, much better.
Okay, nobody move.
Oh, well, funny story. The power went out, so that's why. Well, and okay, and my phone doesn't have any. It doesn't get service where I live. There's no cell service and around here. The quote unquote town that we live near is about 5-minute drive. So there, for some reason, everyone's phones work. But here, where I am, is kind of like the suburb. And so yeah, we experience power outages, and so if I don't have power, I don't have Wi-Fi. Therefore, yeah. So thanks for bearing with me. I hope you enjoyed the intermission.
That was awesome. Everybody here is probably going, "Damn it! I wish I went pee." She's back now.
Oh,
Yeah,
you didn't? Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm good.
Come on.
Yeah.
I'm running the show. I know when I can go pee. I'm all right. I'd be like, Willie will ask a really good question, then I'll grab the phone, I'll turn off the microphone, and I'll run. Except for only once has it happened where somebody's asked me a question while I've been in there having a pee, and I'm just
That's true more than once.
probably. Anyways, I do wash my hands before I talk to everybody again, just so you all know. Yeah. Okay, where the hell were we? We were talking Paris Hilton.
I have full backup batteries on everything. So when I lose power, it doesn't matter because the internet service provider down the street doesn't have backup batteries on shit. So even if I lose power, I still lose internet. Yeah, there you go.
This is technology.
Way to
Hey?
invest in myself, dude. All right, now let's move on.
Technology making life quick and easy and simple.
I had
that was
to
just
get
like
Flux Spectrum moment off my chest.
earlier today. Creatress asked me to send her the original video from the little promo video that I made for the show, and it took me like 4 times before we got it to work, and I finally had to send it to her through Instagram to make it. And I was like, in my head, I'm sitting there going, okay, email, direct message, okay, randomly Instagram. The one, why didn't I think about that? That's how you're supposed to send files to people, through Instagram. That's
Yeah,
what all the
file
big
sharing service.
It's what all the big companies.
Instagram.
It's what all the big companies do, man. They're in there doing big business deals and sending files through Instagram. Anyways,
You didn't send it through. What's their Twitter clone, their X clone, feeds or whatever.
Oh yeah, Threads.
Threads.
Yeah.
Threads.
No, I don't even have Threads.
What's a sewing app?
Anyways, so just before we had our little intermission and everybody went and grabbed popcorn and all that stuff. Thank you, Creatress. We thought that you were just here and had enough of us, and you were like, "Fuck this, I'm out of here. I don't have to put up with this. I live in Hawaii, I'm not mainlander." So there's this 11/11 energy piece that you have lifted up here. Is that something you created for that 11/11 event with Paris Hilton? Was what I was going to ask before we got.
Yeah, before we got really interrupted by the power outage.
Damn powder.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So 11/11 energy, I actually created it during the performance. Like that's what I made during that performance. Yeah.
That's kind of that's very cool. I like it here. I'm playing with it on the screen right now, and I have it for those folks that are joining us on YouTube through WX8BK. I have it up on the screen, and I'm spinning it around, and damn. So with that one there, and again, that was just like you taking the energy and the vibe, and this is what you created out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And just, for context, this one is one of the first times where I went a little bit more, not as abstract as usual. Like I went in there and I knew that I wanted it to be an abstract piece, but I wanted to have the essence of the butterfly, since that's a reoccurring theme and symbol in my art. And so it's not a realistic looking butterfly, it's an abstract butterfly. There's a crown in there too, which I thought was kind of fun. And then the color palette, I went in there knowing like I wanted to use these colors, pink, which is just one of my favorite colors, and orange, which I think is just like a really fun dynamic that I've always been into. Orange used to be my favorite color as well. And then interestingly enough as well, now you can't see this on where you're looking at it on the 3D, but in one of the videos that I have on my pinned tweet, you can see the background or the 3D world I was in is, it's like a sky, with pink clouds. And that was made in AI, or using AI, Blockade Labs. And so I basically created a skybox using AI, and then I imported that into VR, and then that was my kind of studio, my VR studio that I created in. And so that shows up in a lot of the videos of the performance. And I made that specifically knowing kind of the vibe of the event, from what I saw on the event, like splash page that they shared. And, they told me a few of the things that Paris liked. And so, yeah, I kind of, kind of custom tailored a few of the aspects of the performance, for the event, because I knew what type of event it was going to be. And that's what I do for all the events, honestly. It's just to a higher degree on this, for this one.
Is a color palette, is that something that you would normally pre-choose, or is that something that's pretty standard with you normally outside of what you were just talking about with this piece?
Yeah, the color palette is usually more spontaneous. I think that certain energy carries a different color, especially music. Some songs, have a different color than others. Very, and then people. So yeah, I usually don't go in with a specific color palette at all. I let that be an interpretation. But yeah, in this case, I did want to do something more specific.
You say you set it up ahead of time for all your shows. Have you ever done any that are like more pop up or more spontaneous, where you didn't necessarily have the time to do that and you just kind of had to wing it?
Just like a kind of like a spontaneous show, you mean?
Like she's walking down the
Yeah,
street and somebody's like, "Here, fucking do a show."
uh,
Um,
kind
not
of.
really. Well, I did actually do like street art, or my version of street art, in LA, in June. Actually, we had this like adventure day, with my friend Valerie and my friend Tyler, and so we went to the Disney like Symphony Hall, where that is in downtown, and we yeah, I made some art there kind of on the spot using my headset. And so we didn't have a screen or anything. I wasn't projecting anywhere. Only I could see what was happening, and I was recording it using my VR headset. So I could see, I was recording in mixed reality, so I could see the street, I could see people walking around, and then I was making a sculpture kind of overlay on that. So that was that. And then also, I guess there was one more, but it wasn't like someone was like, "Hey, do this." It was more like me, like, "Oh, this is a really cool place to, make some art," kind of impromptu. And the other one was also June, that same trip to California. We chartered a yacht, actually. A bunch of our friends, we all got together, pitched in, and we went to watch a concert from the water. So there's this venue in San Diego called the Shell, and it's right on the water by Seaport Village, behind the convention center, and you can watch it. You can see it from the water. So we camped out. Um, I guess I shouldn't say camped out. We anchored in front of it and hung out there for a few hours. And so I brought my headset, of course, because I'm a nerd and I take it everywhere. And so I did some impromptu stuff while we were watching the concert. And I've got some videos. I haven't shared much of it because it's not the best quality. It was, at dusk and things. But yeah, that's kind of some things I've done. Yeah, this is way too niche for someone to just be like, "Oh yeah, we have a VR headset and the thing. Why don't you just come on?" Like, yeah, that's I don't know if that's
No, I had a feeling that you carry it around with you though. It's your tool. It's your pencil, right? It's your
yeah,
paintbrushes. So I had a feeling that like anywhere you went, you might have that at least in the hotel room or someplace somewhat handy. Um, this is where I go. Oh, be cool if you had like an anchor, like a ANKER, like portable power pack and a little Pico projector. Carry that around with you too. Boom, instant setup. Throw project it up onto a wall.
Which would be
VR,
damn
street art.
cool, right? Which would be really cool. You imagine being like at the Pantheon or something like that, being at the Colosseum in Rome, and you can just like bam up there on the freaking. That would be cool.
I'm all about it. I actually did buy a projector and I have it. I just haven't taken it out to like do that. I guess what I still need is a power bank. That's kind of what's holding me back. So once I get a little, portable, what is it called, power generator, I guess. Yeah, I could do that.
Totally.
But I'm halfway there, or 2/3 of the way. I've got the headset and I've got the projector. So we're building up, y'all.
Oh, love it. Let's keep going,
So I'm talking about.
right? Um, just to kind of go back just a little bit, when you bought your first VR headset, sorry if you did mention this when you talked about that a little earlier, but why did you buy it? Is it because you wanted to try sculpting in VR, or was it because you just like
Yeah,
wanted to play video games?
no, pretty much. Yeah, I saw a commercial where somebody was sculpting in VR. It was probably an Oculus commercial, just showing like the different things you could do on it, and I was like, oh, you can make art on it. Like, I want it. I want that. Like, I want to try it. Because like I said, I'm a total art nerd. I just want to learn every type of art. Like to me, that's exciting. So yeah, that's what I got it for. I'm not really a gamer, to be honest. I have a few games, and my son plays them. In fact, my son is right now using my projector in his room to play his Nintendo Switch with his friend.
Nice. Good
Is
for
he playing
him.
Zelda?
No, but he did just get Zelda. He just got that game for his birthday this month. No, I think he's playing Fortnite. He's got a few friends, and they play Fortnite mainly. Yeah.
All right.
But honestly, even though you don't play video games, I'm sure there's a lot of guys in this world who are going, "Damn, the woman's bought herself a headset. Like that's so awesome." It's like if I gave if any of my past women in my lives, whether it's my sister or anybody else, they'd be like, "Ah, yeah, right. No. Yeah, we all remember Nintendo and how that or sorry, not the Wii and how that went. We're going to end up breaking lamps and it's going to be bad."
Wii videos were fun.
Yeah, the
It's like,
Wii.
I could just
See, I've
imagine.
been through it all. I was there for the Wii. I was there for the Connect. Yeah, I've been following along on this whole journey. I'm into it for sure. A DDR, you guys remember Dance Dance Revolution? That was like way before that. Okay, DDR walked so that Connect and VR could run. Beat Saber could come about.
I never
True.
Dance Dance Revolution, man. I was a total disaster. I was just a disaster. I so badly wanted to be like the people that you watched playing it, but I was just I was the whitest white dude that you could ever have playing Dance Dance Revolution, man. Terrible.
So speaking of the Wii and Connect and all those, Did you ever try any of the other like art games, we'll call them, that those systems offered?
Oh, I don't know about calling them art games, but well, I'll go with it. Yeah, I have actually. I tried. Okay, let's see. The first other one I tried was the spray painting app, which is called graffiti. God, I can't remember right now. But you basically you go in there. It's a different VR environments where there's a wall and you have all these spray cans and you can graffiti. It's really cool. Or street art, however you want to classify it. And then you can do it with people. So I remember the first time I went, there was like a kid in the lobby, and he's like, "Oh, you want me to show you how to like do this?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. This is my first time." And so he's like, "Oh, all right, you know, add me as a friend, and I'll portal us some to my favorite spot." And I was like, "All right, cool." And yeah, it showed me how to use the different tools they had. They have different tips you can use, all sorts of fun stuff. So I've tried that. Oh, King Spray Graffiti. That's the name of that app. And then I also tried Multi Brush. That was cool. You can have like little effects, different sparkle, motion things to your sculptures. So I liked that, but it was a little, I don't know. The UI wasn't my favorite, so I didn't really use that much. And then another one I've used is Vermilion. And on Vermilion, you are painting in VR. And it's really, actually, really fancy how they set it up because you have an easel and it's got all the like knobs and whistles of a real easel. Like you can, bend, like fold it back a little bit so it's like not straight, like at a 90-degree angle. You can have it like a 45 or whatever angle you want. That's comfortable for painting for you, painting in VR. And then you have like your brushes and your palette, and you can kind of adjust exactly where the palette sits on your left or your right, and you want it a little higher. You can have a reference image. It's really nice.
Can you
I
can you put a 3D Bob Ross in there to just like chill with you?
I I'm gonna tell them that's next level. But yeah, no, it's cool. I used to do painting. Like I took oil painting and acrylics and watercolor and all the things. But yeah, so I like that romantic part of it, with the easel and the paints and all that. Yeah.
Okay, but that wasn't the intent of my question. What I meant to ask was along the lines of other games, like so the Wii had games that were painting. The Connect, I'm sure they didn't have a Connect. Like going all the way back to Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo had Mario Paint, which came with a little mouse and was like basically MS Paint only for the Super Nintendo. So going back to other older consoles, did you ever use any of those growing up? Not
Okay.
just in VR.
I see what you're saying. Okay, sorry for digressing down the VR route.
No, no, it was a great answer.
Okay. Yeah, no, I didn't really do. I mean, I did do just regular gaming. I never did really any um art making on games that I can think of. I mean, I'm sure I did at some point, but I can't think of anything right now. Yeah, I mean, I had a Nintendo GameCube, and I had Zelda on there, and I had Monkey Ball. If anyone ever played Monkey Ball, that was
Yep.
interesting. Yeah. But other than that, I didn't have any consoles. I didn't have much in terms of those things. I did play with the Kinect, and I played like Wii Sports, boxing, and tennis and all that stuff. But yeah, I can't think of any art games that I played prior to VR.
Okay.
I like that we called them art games, but I guess what else would you call them? Because I mean, back then they weren't apps, right? When they were on
Yeah.
Nintendos and stuff, but it's art games. Let's make art fun. Let's make an art game. And I also want to say we had to have a public service announcement. I mean, in VR worlds, when some kid comes up to you and says, "Hey, follow me. I'll go show you." You got to be careful. Let somebody know where you're going in those VR worlds.
Yeah, yeah, it depends on where you're at.
Yeah.
That's a good way to lose your wallet.
Right? Yeah.
And nothing we say here is financial or legal advice.
Or VR
Yeah,
advice. Well, maybe VR advice. We do. It seems like we have a professional VR person here. So we might be okay.
sure. Sure. I do want to say before I forget. I made a badge while we're here. I made a badge for everybody who's listening, so you can claim it just while the space is happening. So I just pinned that to the top. So if anybody wants a badge, and just so y'all know, I did use the flyer you guys made, and I just added some
Oh,
butterflies to it. So hopefully that's okay.
of course. Absolutely. That's awesome. Oh, I just clicked on that now. Woo! Exciting.
Woo!
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you very much. So, folks, jump on that. Heck yeah. No, that's wicked. I appreciate that very much. Anytime somebody uses some of my low budget, um, you know, Photoshop and puts it into something else, it excites me. Um, Butterflies, just because you brought it up there, what's the significance with butterflies? You just like them? Is there some deeper meaning to them for you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, who doesn't love butterflies?
True,
Although
right?
I guess some people are scared of butterflies. I heard that's a phobia, not a common one. But anyway, yeah, the butterfly symbology kind of goes way back in my life. At first, it was my grandmother Pilar on my dad's side. She would always wear butterflies. Always had like butterfly jewelry or butterfly decorations in her home. And so growing up, I always just was associated with butterflies with my grandmother. And then when I was 10, I went to visit my grandmother for the summer, and she took me to this anthropology museum where I saw a huge, like I'm talking thousands of butterflies and insects in these like really cool cases that had been left behind by my great grandfather, her dad. So he was totally obsessed with insects and the study of animals in the region that they live in, and like classifying them and taking notes and all these really cool things, and so much so that he left a whole collection to the anthropology museum of the state that he lived in, which is Mexico State. Yeah, there's like a state called Mexico in Mexico, and so weird, I know, but yeah, and so I got to see that, and I was completely amazed. I'm like, I didn't even know about my great grandfather at the time until I showed up there and saw that. And so that's kind of the second kind of layer of the butterflies. I was like, oh, no wonder my grandma likes butterflies. Like, that makes sense. Her dad was obsessed, and he showed her how to place them in frames and make art out of their wings. And then he also even made um, art from hummingbird feathers. Like he'd find hummingbirds on his
What?
travels. Yeah, dude. A whole thing. It's a whole thing. It goes deep. So that's where the butterflies come from. And I wanted to bring butterflies into VR because in my mind, I think we all carry, a part of our ancestors, and there's a reason why we're drawn to things. And sometimes it's because our ancestors were also. And we're just like new iterations, right? Like, and so the butterfly coming into VR was just bringing it to a whole new dimension, a whole new reality. Yeah, that's what it is.
Damn, that's a good, cool story. That's awesome. I could imagine what that was like as a child to see something like that. All those bugs, which are amazing. Like, I mean, um, we say, oh, just bugs or insects or whatever, but it's like, a lot of people, some people are like, they're just bugs. But it's like when you get to look at them like that, there's some amazing things, like the colors and the sheens and the different shapes and sizes of all sorts of insects, especially when you're somewhere more tropical, is just like, it's mind blowing. And to see them presented like that, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was pretty mind blowing at the time. And then that was when I was 10, and maybe 2 years later or about a year later, I started the museum school, sixth grade, right around that time. We were like 11, 12 in sixth grade. So Yeah, a lot of things started kind of brewing up, and the whole idea of like, oh, maybe being an artist is something I could maybe do one day. So yeah.
Once again, that time frame, sixth grade. That's where it all changed.
Yeah. Well, I'll say one more thing. In 2001, which was right around that time when I was 10, that same year, we moved from Rosarito, Mexico, to San Diego. So we switched countries right then and there. So it was a whole mix of things. So that I think also plays into my identity as an artist, is the fact that I'm an immigrant. I have dual citizenship. You know, yeah, in these two cultures, these two worlds, I've had to kind of, evolve a few different times.
And evolve they did. I'm trying to think about where I want to go next. I just lost my train of thought. Sorry. We went to butterflies and bugs and boxes, and I was like, I went all boy, and I forgot everything there. Um, I do really, I think it's really cool that, kind of to dumb it down from how you said, but like that the way you feel that we are kind of just a little bit iterations of our grandparents or all of our generations of people. I think that's kind of what you said a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I really dig that kind of, and it makes sense. I don't know. I just think you said it just a little bit more eloquently than I've ever put it. I just maybe that was it, but yeah, no, totally. Your grandfather would be totally using the AR in a headset right now. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I would hope so. And I have my grandfather coming to visit next month. Actually, it's this month now. So I'm definitely gonna get him to put on the headset and just try it.
That'll be cool. I've seen them. I've seen many videos of that about different people using headsets for the first time, and especially when it's people that didn't grow up with that kind of thing and how they react to that sort of deal. That'll be fun. I'm sure he'll enjoy it
Yeah, I'm
thoroughly.
looking forward to it. I do remember my dad telling me when the internet like was first coming about, he was trying to explain to his father, my grandfather, like about it. He's like, "Oh, dude," like, and my grandpa was just like, "What the hell are you talking about?" So yeah, for him to use like a phone now and like FaceTime and all that stuff, it's like he's come a long way. He's ready for VR.
Absolutely. I'm really impressed with that when I do see folks. I don't personally have anybody in my life that's elderly that uses that stuff, but I love it when the older generations pick that up. Like my dad, I kind of expected that he would have to, and he does. He doesn't use it very well, but I mean, just thinking back when my grandparents were around, like if they had have had one, I would have loved it. But it's funny when I go to Italy, where like the cell phone is a very common use. I love seeing a 90-year-old lady pull out a cell phone and texting someone like that. That's fucking awesome. Uh, that was a side story. I just collected my first badge. I'm really happy.
Dude, I've been trying since you mentioned it. I cannot figure it out.
Oh man. Well, congrats, Bits. And yeah,
Thanks.
I don't know. You know what? If you can try doing it on your computer. I find a lot more success claiming badges on my computer than on my phone.
Well,
Um,
I think because I logged in with Gmail and not with my Twitter account, so it said that I couldn't claim.
Well, it's
So
funny. I went with
I'm still
Twitter.
I'm still working on it.
I went with Twitter at first, and it wasn't letting me in, and then I went with my Gmail, and that's how I made it happen.
okay, interesting. I
So
think you can. I
Okay,
think you can
now I got
connect
it.
your Twitter after you have an account. I think you can go connect your Twitter, and then it'll like register that you're in the room. I don't know the magic that goes on behind these scenes, y'all. I just know it works
oh yeah,
somehow. It knows that you're in the Twitter space. But yeah, if anyone has trouble claiming it, you just send me your awardable like username, and I can just send you like I can gift you a badge directly.
Okay,
If
so
you have trouble.
what is awardable? This is the first time I'm seeing or hearing of this. Give
Yeah,
us Can you give us a short rundown
yeah,
Is it POAPs?
explanation?
kind of like POAPs. That's how I would describe it. Like the short rundown would be, it's a way to collect and create badges like POAPs. But also you can link them or you can mint them to any chain you want really easily. And kind of what sold me was because I was already making POAPs all the time. It takes like half of the time to create a badge. You know, like I could make a badge in like a minute, and POAPs you had to fill out like 10 different things, tell them why you were hosting, what you needed these for, and yeah, so just ease of use honestly is my takeaway here to give collectible things out. That's what it is.
Look at those little butterflies on there just flickering away. Damn.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
It says I
nice little
claimed.
gifts.
It says I claimed 3. How the fuck is that even possible? No, it must be 3 in my wallet. Not.
It might be three have been claimed.
Yeah, like I have 3. Oh, maybe that. I don't know. It's new to me. All right. That's enough new technology for me while I'm on the old Twitter machine, or the X machine, I should say. How many times have we all said Twitter tonight? Like, how is this ever going to disappear? How is calling it the X or whatever the hell we're supposed to call it ever going to pan out? Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's wacky
Funny
stuff.
you should mention the words X disappearing. They had to tear down the giant light up sign on the top of the building in San Francisco already after like 2 days.
The eyesore?
Yeah, the eyesore.
Uh,
This happens when you don't get permits, people.
wow, they were
Yeah,
just
I think it was too bright. I think that was the problem.
yeah. It was
Oh, it was a giant nuisance. Yeah,
like there
but
was like people living in the building across the street, right?
but now, do you think the planning department is ever going to give him a permit for anything on that building?
No.
Hell no.
Oh.
They're gonna they're gonna drive him out of California again.
True enough. He's Elon
Okay,
Musk. He'll figure
we
out a way.
digress into California
He'll just
politics.
do it anyways. Um, as far as your art goes, do you have any influences? Do you have other artists that from the past or I guess the present that are influences to you? Is there was when you were doing physical clay creation? Was there something you were designing it after?
I mean, I think there's one I see that stands out, but
Well, she can answer that.
yeah, I'll keep that to myself for now. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, I no one specifically that I was trying to like emulate or recreate. But I mean, obviously, it's obvious to me anyway. Frida Kahlo has been always, an inspiration. Mainly, honestly, my grandmother and my great grandfather. My grandma, aside from doing butterfly art, she does upcycling and like found objects and turning them into something completely different. She's been doing that for ages, so that's always been an inspiration for me to take an object that someone would deem maybe trash or just even if it's not trash, it could just be something that stands alone, but together mixed with something else, making art from something like that. So anyone who does anything like that, has been an inspiration. Um, yeah, outside of Frida Kahlo, not yeah, no one in particular, to be honest. One thing that I do want to point out, maybe this is what One Wheel was thinking was. I do have a sculpture specifically that I made. That was one of the other representational ones, where I did kind of like an homage to Frida Kahlo. And so let me see if I can pull that up and pin it. But yeah, outside of that, yeah, not too many. Although I did get a chance to study a lot of painters when I was doing live drawing. So during school, I took about 3 different live art classes where we had a model come in and you would have sometimes only 30 seconds to draw a pose they were holding. Sometimes we'd have like an hour. I actually modeled once, not nude, but for class, and it was just as unnerving as I could possibly handle. But yes, sitting still is actually really hard. But yeah, no, I'd say Frida Kahlo is my main one. Just my main lady. Maybe Andy Warhol on some level. But yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. No, the universe had its path for you, and you're forging it almost on your
Um,
own.
I I thought I saw a lot of Georgia O'Keeffe kind of influence in there, but
Oh, okay.
this is why we ask the artists and not just assume things.
Well, I will say, like we had to study all sorts of artists when I did my painting classes. So I took a few painting classes as well during school. So I've looked at everybody's art, or not everyone's, but a lot of art. And I had to take art history. Actually, funny story. I had to take art history 3 times um, because I am so bad at memorizing things, names, and dates. And like that was like the main thing when it came to these art classes, right? And so I've seen a lot of art, and I feel kind of like every single thing you see at any given point becomes part of your inspiration, right? Whether you know it or not. Like I think it's more of a subconscious thing, right? Um, and so I feel like a lot of artists that I may be inspired by, I just don't remember their names or the title of their works or that it's their work specifically because I've just seen it in passing. And with my brain, which is very unreliable when it comes to dates and things like that, yeah, it's just I just don't know. But I've seen it. I also took photography, a history of photography, um, and my professor was the director of photography of the Museum of Photography in San Diego. And so he went down like so many rabbit holes, and that really actually inspired me too, that class specifically. Um, and I mean, that guy knew Ansel Adams and like all of these like insane photographers, which is something that I kind of dabble in but don't focus on, but that definitely influences my work as well.
I like that photography that you dabble in, but you don't focus on. That was totally a little. That was. I like that.
That was unintentional.
I know
See,
that
yeah,
was
it's subconscious now.
that was cheesy. I just went total dad on that. Dad joke on that.
I liked it.
Ansel Adams. There's a name I haven't heard in a while, man. When I was growing up in the '80s, when I was a kid in the '80s, I remember everybody had an Ansel Adams in their house.
So speaking of, that's why we went through Yosemite on the way home is because the condo that we were staying at had an Ansel Adams picture of Bridal Veil Falls, and we were like, you know what? All the snow we've gotten this year, we need to go through there and see it on the way home.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
that's
there you
amazing.
go, Ansel Adams.
Um, have you? So since you've been doing this, since your first live event that you had in New York in 2021, I think you said. Could be
Yep,
wrong. Yeah.
yep. November
So,
21.
how's it been going now? Has it been like? Did you do many events? How many events have you done? That's a better question.
Oh, okay. I think the count is at about 26, maybe 27. Yeah. Uh, it's been going good. The bear market definitely has been hitting.
Right.
Um, People and events don't quite have the budgets for entertainment at their events like they used to in the bear market. I will say that. But I did get a chance to perform in a metaverse into Centraland last month, and that was a paid gig, so that was really cool. Finding different ways of performing, without having to physically travel is nice. But yeah, I'm just kind of figuring it out as I go. But yeah, I'm having fun with it, and with the Apple headset coming out next year, like I definitely am trying to find a way to maybe collaborate with them and try that out and see what kind of cool ways I can kind of up level the experience with that.
Ooh, that's huge.
Is that where we're going now? I've been waiting all day. that what we're talking about now? Or are we going to come back to
Send it, Willie. Send it, Willie.
that? No, it's like so what hardware did you start out on? Did you start out on the first Oculus Quest or?
Yeah, well, I guess it was the second, right? So it was the Oculus Meta Quest 2. Yeah, the 2.
So then what are you using now that you said is like mixed reality that you can see outside? Is that still Quest 2 or are you using something different?
Yeah, yeah, thanks. Good question. Yeah, so the Meta Quest 2 actually can do mixed reality, but it doesn't do it great, and it's just black and white. And so I now have the Meta Quest Pro, which shout out to Meta because they did give it to me, I guess as a gift, when I did the Paris Hilton event, actually, because they were the like title sponsor for that event. It was Meta and I think Proto Hologram, which was there. And so yeah, I got to get it like maybe 2 months after it came out, and I got to keep it. So that's what I've been using. Those are the two I have.
Very cool. So what do you think about the new Apple hardware?
Well, I think it looks great. I mean, I obviously haven't gotten to use it, but I have talked to a couple of people who got to use it, and yeah, they said it's amazing. Seems like people can't say much about it at this point, but yeah, I'm freaking stoked. Honestly, I've been an Apple kind of advocate since the sixth grade. We're going back to sixth grade, right? The museum school had those Macs, those like the original iMac computers that were like oval shaped at the back and the see-through like color. Y'all remember that, right? So they
Yeah.
had
Hell yeah.
cool. Yeah. So that was my inception point, right? They got me early. After that, somehow, some way, I got a free Mac. That was like my first computer that I kind of had. That felt more like my computer, and it was one of those like it was an orange one, or was it blue? God, I don't remember. But anyway, and so from there, then the iPhone came out, and I was obsessed. Spent my first paycheck to buy an iPhone, and that was like the reason why I even was most motivated to get my first job, was just to have a phone like that. And then it was so expensive to have the phones back then, right? You had to pay for minutes and like all this stuff, and then data, right? So that was my first foray into Apple, and I never looked back since. I haven't had any phone besides an iPhone, I think, since I started like around 16 years old. So, and I use a Mac still now. I've got the pink Mac. I'm obsessed. I can't tell you enough how much I want to be a brand ambassador. I'm like, if Apple's listening, please come find me.
Please,
Big,
I hope they're listening.
yeah, Big Apple, bring us all joy.
Please send this interview to them.
By the way, this show is written and produced on a Apple Mini
And 3 iPhones.
and 3 iPhones. I've got, actually, as a matter of fact, we've got 3. I've got 2 iPhones in front of me, an iPad, my Mac Mini.
Are you wearing AirPods too?
No, they don't work. None of that shit works in my ears. I can't wear.
Yeah,
it,
they don't fit my ears,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Mine just.
I gotta go with sister brand Beats.
Yeah, that's where I'm.
Okay.
That's where I'm
Okay,
at.
it's still in the ecosystem. That's fine.
Yeah, gotta have that M1 chip, Gotta have that M1 chip.
Yeah, but all jokes aside, I'm all about it. And like I don't know if I mentioned, it might have been in a different space, but I got started like the job, right, that I did to get through school and even after, right, was promotional marketing, like where I would be a brand ambassador, and I've done that for like over 50 different brands, like all the biggest brands that you've heard of, right? And so like for me to be like, hey Apple, I want to be a brand ambassador, that is like, I'm not just like saying that out of the blue, like I like have done it, like I'd be down, and I actually really like them. So yeah, it's not just like I wouldn't do it for any brand at this point. Like now, I'm a lot more selective, but that one definitely is in alignment.
Well, that's what we need. We need help being brand ambassadors. We just,
Right?
we just want a couple free Dynavaps.
A couple free
Oh
Dynavaps,
shit! I mentioned their name. Damn
some
it.
Apple
I had not been
products.
mentioning their name.
I could go for some sparkling water.
Yeah, yeah.
Hell yeah.
No, like one of the reasons I bring up about the new, I don't even remember what they're calling it, Apple Eyes. I don't know. Is the price tag really threw a bunch of people off, and I it didn't throw me off though. I thought, it's a lot of hardware and it's still wireless. So I was kind of wondering like your thoughts on that, and like a lot of people also had the thought of, with the mixed reality recording and the way that they promoted it, it was very Black Mirror-y. I don't know if you remember some of those episodes, but it was very like, wow, we really are going to live inside the headsets now. This is this is getting kind of weird. So I was
Yeah.
wondering your thoughts on some of that.
Okay. I feel like there was a few questions there. I'll go on price first. Yeah, I mean, $3,500. I mean, okay, it's $3,499. Okay. Yeah, I mean, for any person, I feel like most people make about $3,000 a month, if that. Um, so I mean, yeah, it just when you look at it from that perspective, it's a lot. Um, compared to the MetaQuest Pro, which was their first starting price was $1,799, like 1,799, which also is a lot, right? But it's Apple. I mean, I don't know. Personally, I don't have it to spend it. So even if I wanted to buy it, which I do want to buy it, I can't right now, right? It's out of my price range. Um, so I guess I could be a little bit salty about that, but I'm a realist, and I like to think of everything from both points of view, right? So one side says that's too expensive. The other side says, well, like the computer, a MacBook, could go for 3,000 as well. Like depending on how much storage you add to it, if what chip you want. Like if you want to get the best of the best that they offer in
Yeah,
terms of a
easily.
computer, how much are you going for? How much are you spending, right?
Well, I think part of the hard selling point on the price was the fact that they're not selling it as a standalone computer, not selling it as a Mac replacement. They're selling it more as a Mac accessory.
Oh
So I
well,
think
yeah, for
I,
sure.
I, I think that hits kind of hard to some people.
Yeah, and I'm not defending their price. Like I said, it's out of my price range, so I'm not stoked about it. But at the same time, I did hear that they filed like I don't know, like 1,000 or more patents that went into this tech. So I mean, just like the amount of tech, I think that's proprietary that's going into this. Like when you look at it from that point of view, I mean, I'd say it's well worth it. Do I think I'm gonna buy it? Probably not. Like I think the only way I'm gonna get it is if I can get some kind of partnership because that is just like, yeah, way too much. But I see why they did it. I get it, and on a side note, MetaQuest Pro just said that they're not going to continue doing development on the Pro. So like now they're going to be the only ones. Like they're going to be the main contender. So they kind of get to set the price, I guess.
Yeah, because I think I don't have a lot of experience with like standalone headsets like HTC Vive or anything like that. I've used a couple of them, but I think most of those aren't running their own software really. They're from what I know, they're basically just a, a screen extension for your PC, which is great for certain gaming, but when it comes to like anything else that's outside of gaming that you could put together, like it's just a Windows extension, right? Or sorry, a screen extension. As where with the Apple, it's got its own ecosystem already built in. It's got its own app, its own software, user interface. All of that is all Apple, which, even if you can't justify the price on the hardware alone, that's a lot of what you're paying for. You know, in my
Yeah.
thoughts. And if Meta is, they were the only other ones that had their own UI. So if they're stopping development and basically just going with the cheap gaming version, then yeah, Apple will be the only one on the market. And going back to all the patents filed, I think some of those patents go back like almost 10 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Like
something like that too.
yeah, it's not like, they just filed them last week or anything like that. It's been in development for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. But that being said, Apple, you got any promo codes? Hit us up. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to shoot my shot with them, and yeah, in the meantime, I'll keep using the MetaQuest Pro. It's got a lot of cool qualities. I'm rocking with it. But yeah, I haven't tried any other headsets. I tried the HTC Vive once, but it was just like a very short 20-minute session at an event. So I don't have much experience outside of the headsets that I own. But I'm hopeful. I'm always open to being a beta tester if any VR companies are looking. And yeah.
That's where, folks, like everybody, hashtag everybody that's listening out here, she's looking towards Apple, but she's also open to other offers. If people want to send this fantastic lady some headsets, maybe that one mystery listener that's down there that we don't know who it is, maybe they're listening right now and going, yeah, we should start boxing up some headsets and send them out to the night train and Creatress before she signs with Apple.
Let's go.
I mean,
Exactly.
Right?
we could go full digital, full VR on the night train. I'm all right with that.
Everybody put on your goggles. It's time to jump on the night train. Right? Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I like it.
So we could do it. All right, we'll do it.
Honestly, if the Quest 2 could spot dog shit in my lawn, I probably already would be. But I don't want to have to like mark it beforehand every Tuesday. I know
Yeah,
you could
I
just
think
pick it
I think
up, but
you're way ahead of your time, man. Actually, this reminds me of a question that I didn't answer. Hold on. The VR, you were asking if we're all going to be living in these, right? Because of what's going on, and I don't think we ever are. Like, I don't think headsets are ever going to be something that people wear around until they make actual like legit sunglasses type of interface and headgear. Like, it's not a heavy thing. And I think we still have a lot of time until that happens. And even then, people aren't going to wear their sunglasses all the time. Just like even people who wear glasses to see don't wear their glasses all the time. At some point or another, you're going to take them off your face for whatever reason. So yeah, I think we're pretty far from everybody being in VR all the time, if that ever even happens.
Thank goodness, because I don't have a VR set yet. I'd be like out here living real life, and everybody else would be like, "Isn't this amazing?"
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We wouldn't want to leave you behind. So
Hey.
don't worry. You're good.
I'm
You're
good. Thank God. Everybody's taking pity on the Canadian. Mm-mm.
On that note, though, I do have to jump and go have some dinner, or rather, make some dinner before I have it. So I do want to, yeah, say thank you so much for having me. This was fun. Sorry about the power outage intermission.
Well,
No,
I wanted to talk about glass blowing. Dang it!
Oh man, yeah, there's so much to talk about. Yeah, we didn't touch on glass blowing, but I mean, I could share a little bit about it. I'll say, I got a chance to learn glass blowing. I took a few semesters. when I lived in San Bernardino. I think I talked about that. Maybe no. I didn't talk about that in this space, but I was talking about that earlier today. For about a year and a half, I lived in this place called San Bernardino, and the community college there had a glass blowing studio. So I got to take glass design, which was more of fusing glass, slumping glass, using a kiln and glass, making pendants, things like that. Stained glass too. I learned how to make stained glass and beads. That was kind of the intro. And then I kind of got, encouraged by my teacher to try the glass blowing, which I had just been like staring at from far away and never really considered doing because it looked way like beyond my comprehension, to be honest. So anyway, I went for it. I did it, and yeah, I kind of fell in love with it. It is the most hardcore art form that I have found. It is kind of like performance art on some level, except there's not always an audience, which is fine, but it's still a performance. Like you still have to, really be focused. You're completely, not thinking about anything else besides what happens next, the next step, and then there's the science, and then it feels like a sport. Like to me, glass blowing is the sport of the art world. Like only the most fit people can do it because it's hot as heck. So you need to be able to withstand heat. You need to be able to, be able-bodied. So that is one kind of barrier to entry when it comes to glass blowing. It's like you have to be able to like move around within like tight quarters, and you need to like be relatively strong enough to carry a pipe, which is usually about 5 pounds, maybe, but it can easily get up to like 15 pounds if you're adding glass to the tip of it, which that's what glass blowing is. So it is a workout. You end up sweating, like drenched at the end. You have to take breaks so you don't pass out. It's a whole thing. And so as an athlete, when I was little, I was obsessed with running. I used to race all the time. I was obsessed with winning. And thankfully I was really fast, so that worked out. But I was also really like committed to working out. So I would go to practice every freaking day and run like 3 miles since the day I was like 6 years old until I was about 11. Actually, until I was 10, and we moved to the US, and then that went down the window. But anyway, that's just to say I've always had a lot of energy, and I've always liked, to have a physical component to anything I do. And so glass blowing is the best. But it is expensive. It uses a lot of resources, and it's not easy to find a place to practice. So it is one of the most impractical art forms
Do you,
that I've ever
do you
done.
have a favorite piece of glass that you've made?
Yeah, I do. Have a couple, honestly. God, that's like asking what's your favorite artwork. Yeah, I have a couple. One of them is this really cool triangle. I guess it's like a plate, and it's like purple, a see-through purple at the bottom, and then above, like on the top layer, it's like a nice dichroic layer, which is this like really shiny, like kind of translucent. Well, maybe not translucent, but it's just like every color, every different angle you look at it from, it looks like a different color. So that one, and then most recently, I made a fish here in Maui with my partner and one of my best friends. So that was like our first kind of glass collaboration. So that's my other second favorite right now. Yeah.
I love that word dichroic. I haven't heard somebody say that in so long.
I don't think I've ever heard it.
Man.
Well, it's. I was going to say that a good example of it, Willie, is like when you look at oil on top of water, and you get that kind of sheen to it. Like that's.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know it from the live industry, from lighting. You always had dichroic filters. But anyways, cool. Google it, kids.
Yeah, for sure. It's a cool material to work with. It's fun, especially if you like those little effects with the light.
Mm-hmm. Just before you go, if you don't mind, for anybody that's been listening, this evening. It was definitely a good point in time. If anybody had a question or a comment that they wanted to throw out to Creatress before we let her go and cook her dinner and feed her family, now would be a good time to pop on up if you had it. If not, no. I know Pong was down there giving 100% with everything that we were saying about glass blowing.
Yeah,
Because
I
he would
was
know.
gonna ask her, do you know our homie Pong down there? He's a
Yeah,
glassblower.
yeah, I'd love to shout out Pong and Laser, and Jen and Teepee. They're the homies, amazing artists, all in their own right. And Pong specifically, he is a glass blowing master. So yeah, he's one of my people that I guess I'm inspired by. You know, I know you were asking earlier in terms of VR, but I guess in terms of sculpting physical objects, yeah, Pong's definitely on my list of artists that I look up to. He's out there actually doing glass blowing all the time, which I'm a little jealous. I got to be honest. But yeah.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Pong out there on the East Coast. Late night out there, even and Jen as well. All East Coasters stay up late to listen to us. We put them asleep. I think that's what we do. We'll put you to sleep. Fendel, my man, you popped up there with the microphone. How you doing, sir?
Oh, great show, everybody, and really enjoyed the interview. Hey, I was wondering what music informs your art, and I was just kind of curious. What do you love?
Oh, thank you for the question, and yeah, the kind words. Okay, yeah, the music is interesting. Actually, I've considered sharing my playlists from each performance just so people get an idea. But yeah, I like all types of music. I actually usually start with a uh, like an indigenous kind of sounding song. I believe it's actually a Brazilian song that I use pretty often. I don't remember the name right now. But yeah, so I start with like a song that has like bird sounds and like jungle kind of sounds, which is interesting. But the reason why is because I'm so inspired by nature. Like I live around nature. I always have on some level. So yeah, I start usually with kind of like a meditative music that slowly ramps up, drum beats, kind of like indigenous drum beats and sounds like that. Yeah, that's kind of where I start, and then I go all over the place. Like I put in some oldies. ABBA is one of the things that I really like. One of the bands and sounds. So I throw in some of that. I like remixes a lot. So a lot of my music that I pick ends up being like something that's sampled, from a long time ago. I like EDM. There's EDM in there. There's Beyonce is always there because Beyonce is one of the people that I have on my like bucket list that I would like to perform with or for, or like to make some art during one of her concerts. That is like one of my ultimate kind of like bucket list items, right? Or collaborations. So yeah, a little bit of that. Martin Garrix sometimes. I'm trying to think actual like artist names. Yeah, Beyonce, Martin Garrix, Zed. I believe I did a couple times. Selena. I had a performance in Mexico once, and that was all Spanish music for that one. It was for ETH Global actually, and most of the people there spoke English, but I didn't. I just really wanted to get in touch with the place, and my family was there, so it was great. That was like mainly cumbia type of music. So yeah, it varies. It really varies. I think I'll say one last thing. I guess I'll say is like at the core of it, it's music that makes me want to get up and dance and create. There's some songs that are undeniable. Like it's playing, and no matter where you are, you're like, oh, like if like it might take a second, but eventually you tune in and you're like in it, and it's making you like bob your head or dance, or like it's gotta have that factor to it, and that's where I kind of set the bar. So it could be anything as long as it makes me feel that way.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Really, is so awesome, and congratulations. And it was great to hang out and share the conversation a little bit. Cheers.
Thank you for coming. Really, really appreciate that. And yeah, that's a great question because I actually do spend a lot of time curating the playlists, and I hope that people dance. Like I tell people in my performance, like I hope you guys are dancing around me. And I have been in a performance once where there was a dance cipher like happening around me. So it was like, oh my god, that was the ultimate experience for me. It's just to have, and the dancers were interacting with me, and that was just next level. So the music is like a huge part of it.
I just learned what a cipher was a couple weeks ago.
Nice. Are you're a dancer?
No. No, Shadow Music had to inform me what it was.
Oh, okay. Well, that's dope. Hey, we come out of our shells slowly but surely. Maybe at a performance of mine one day you'll come out of your shell and dance.
Hell yeah. Come on, homie. You were dancing at the rave in Miami too,
yeah,
weren't you? Right?
Yeah, if we're doing some performance stuff, yeah, I'm not just dancing around my backyard though.
I
walk calmly so I can engage in conversation.
I do hope.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
No, it's hot out here.
In December, Willie. In December.
I just have one last question before you go, and it's you said that you did a live VR performance. So, like, what's the best way to be in the loop and know when you're doing it, where we can find those things online and things like that we can all attend?
Yeah, great question. I would say my website, if you go sign up for my newsletter, that's where I put out announcements about events. Of course, Twitter is a great place, but I don't know about you guys, but I don't see all of my friends' tweets. So I will absolutely, anytime I have an event, I'll tweet, I'll put it on my Instagram. But if you don't want to rely on the algos, yeah, definitely just subscribe to my newsletter, and I'll be sharing there the next event. So yeah, I think for now, Miami in December 8th to the 10th is my next. Yeah, that's where I'm kind of focusing right now.
You have something lined up for Basel already?
I have an opportunity to perform somewhere, but it's not exactly the perfect opportunity. I would need to find some sponsors for that. So maybe that, but I'm also open to if there's any events that are interested in booking. I'm actively planning that trip. So yeah, I'm all ears. I'm looking for some sponsors, to come out and do some performances. In 2021, I did 4 performances during Miami Basel week, and I'd like to do that again if I can. I will do as many as I possibly can in the time that I'm there. So yeah,
let's get Apple to sponsor all those so we can all get headsets.
Right.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I'll dance and draw shittily next to you.
Right. I was gonna say we gotta Wag Me Wine's gotta get fired up, but Poke Shaman's not in here anymore.
Yeah, I'll let you guys know, but
cool.
But yeah, the search is on. I'm starting to put the feelers out. I do have someone who's already reached out and said that they'd be open to sponsoring. So yeah, it's just a matter of figuring out exactly what event I'm gonna show up at and bring my energy to, and yeah, but I'm here for it. That's my next projected performance, but also I can do live performances in the metaverse too. So if anybody's got a plot or a online event, I can send you a performance. Like I can record that and send it over, and it's pretty wild what you can do now with mixed reality. So I'm leaning into that as well as I spend more time here at home in these next few months.
That's exciting. I was totally wondering when I was going to be able to hope, I was going to go, man, I hope we get to see you someday. But the fact that you say that you may be in Miami, that you're going to be in Miami next this year, that's dope. We'll be in Miami.
Oh, nice. Well, yeah, let's chat. I'd love to collaborate with anybody that's going to be out there.
We'll
See
get
what we
Willie
can do.
dancing.
Yeah, please they'll
Maybe.
dance nearby me, but not too close. Yeah, no, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good time this year, and it'll be nice that I'll be nice and rested. Last year it was like November, New York, and then December, Miami, and that was just a little too much. That was 2021, but yeah, it was a little too fast. So I'm excited to properly plan ahead of time for this year.
Not ready for the full on rock star tour yet. Show every night for weeks.
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm down. I'm down. I just don't want to make. I don't want to make another trip. Like once I'm there, once I make it there, I'll
Yeah, for
perform
sure.
as many times as I can. But it's just the whole trip situation. Like I'm cool with just
Yeah.
Basel for right now.
And that's a very long ways for you. I mean, you consider people that come from the West Coast that go to the East Coast, and then you add that extra, 3 hours onto it or however whatever it adds to. That's a lot of
6,
traveling. 6 hour, yeah.
5.5, 6.
Yeah, it's about five. It's about 5 hour
Damn.
six, depending on the wind from Maui to the West Coast, and then from there, yeah, you got your other, 6 hours or something crazy to
Guess
go
so.
across the whole country. Yeah.
Well, I left. I went to Hawaii from Vegas, so everything was a blur. So I guess, wow, it was that long, hey? Shit.
Yeah, and that's why I slowed down a little bit here in the second half of the year with the travel because I just, like ever since I moved here last year, I've traveled like every other month, and I really want to like enjoy it here. So yeah, and it takes a long time, and if you're traveling for 12 hours and are uncomfortable in a sea is just not it takes the whole glamour and exciting part of traveling. I'll tell you what, when you're traveling more than 10 hours anywhere. So yeah, I'm excited to kind of do less trips but more performances at each trip, really maximize my time.
How long you been out in Hawaii?
Just since last year, we moved July 3rd last year. So yeah, just
Locals
settling in.
still hate you. The,
Yeah, totally.
the ones that have only been there for 10 years, they still hate you.
Yeah,
Like, she doesn't have as much time as we have here on the island.
yeah. No, thankfully, most people are super nice. And I've just, I spend most of my time at home making art anyway, so it's not too bad. But yeah, people are nice. I go to the farmers market every week, and everybody there is really nice and welcoming. So I feel very lucky.
Killer. Well,
Yeah, and I'm used to being the outsider. I moved to the United States from Mexico. Like I've dealt with people not wanting me to be there before, sadly. But yeah, it's all good. I think anyone is in their right to be protective of the place that they live and that their ancestors live and come from. Like I think that's okay. I understand it, because I've been there. People move to Mexico all the time as nomads and things like that, and it makes me feel some type of way. Not to the point where I would say anything to anyone. I think people are free to live wherever they choose. But yeah, I get it. I get it, and I'm just happy to be here. Honestly, very grateful.
well, you're good people. We need more of your soul floating through this universe. Awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me, guys. This was fun.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you giving us your time. I wanted to have you on for a little bit because seeing what you do is really awesome, and it's very original, and it's definitely all you 100%. And I think you're doing a great thing. You got a very good positive vibe to you. 100% appreciate you giving us some of your time just before dinner to hang out with us and to share some of your story. There's a lot of story there that now that we've spoken to you, it's like I have a page and a half of stuff here where I'm going, man, we need to talk to you again someday. So hopefully someday you'll be able to chat with us again for sure.
Yeah, and thank you so much. That's very kind. And yeah, there's definitely a lot to go into. I feel like we this was a great intro. And we didn't even talk about. I saw you 3D printed a coaster with my name on it. That was
Heck
like
yeah.
mind blowing. By the way.
I got it. Every guest gets that wonderful treatment. It's a very rare thing, these coasters.
They're
Yeah,
warm ones.
that's amazing. I was really stoked to see that. I was like, that is next level, guys. So yeah, thank you for making me feel special.
Absolutely. Well, you definitely are 100%. You're one of the special people in the space, along with a lot of other folks that are in here. Um, we're not going to keep you any longer. You can definitely head off and prepare your meal for the night and have a good relaxing evening and get to bed early. Get some good rest so you can enjoy your time out there in Hawaii.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right,
And I
everybody. Thank you
and
so
I do have
much.
unanswered questions on my note list, but we'll get to those later.
Oh man, yeah, no, I'm happy to come back and do a different space sometime. So yeah, we'll chat and we'll go for part two if you guys are down.
Hell yeah, we'll do a late one. Just she has to stay up late, Willie.
Yeah,
All right. Cool.
I don't stay up that late.
Of course, for everybody else here, we're gonna still hang out a bit longer. So you're welcome to kick around with us and chat for a little bit. Thank you, Creatress. That was awesome.
Yeah, I'll be listening. I'll be listening. Thanks
All right.
everybody for coming. Really appreciate you guys. See my friend out Lumen out there and Diamond. Love y'all. Have a good night, everybody.
Whoop whoop. Oh, well, if she's gonna be listening still, we can't talk about her.
I know.
Oh, it's
She
so
was fun.
cool. I had so many questions, and then just we started talking to her, and I'm like, wow, this lady is like, okay, there's so many different ways we could go. And then, like I said, at the end of it, I got a page and a half here where I'm like, yep, well, here's the original questions that I only asked two of. And then there's the rest of the stuff that all came up through this conversation that I have more questions about. I like it.
Yeah, same here. Like I was saying when she dropped off, I was like, all right, well, let's just kind of see where this goes before I really dig into my pre-written questions. Let's just kind of feel out where she's gonna take us.
I really like,
Which is great.
big fan of music myself. Well, we are too. You are too as well, Willie. A lot of our listeners are. Fendel's definitely a music fan. Lots of people are. It's really cool to see how music influences so much in this world. Whether it's when people are working, doing their laborious job, listening to the music, and that's what gets them through the day, or whether when people are creating art, they listen to music and that's what gets them through the day or gets them through their art piece or helps them create, whether they're in the closet, playing with their lasers, right? Listening to music, that's how they're creating. When I'm doing this space, I'm listening to music. I'm not actually paying attention to what's going on. I'm just reading the closed caption. No, just kidding.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
Oh, God, that would be horrible. I can hardly run this. I got two phones and a computer and an iPad in front of me. That's way too much.
you, you you imagine if we had gotten this far with that much disrespect?
Oh.
Like,
Well,
nah, yeah, whatever. Just jamming out over here.
I
Nothing
think
too long in the background. Don't worry about me.
I was going to say at that point in time we wouldn't even know that people were listening or not. I don't think. Oh, there's nobody in
True.
this room. It's just me and Willie again for 5 hours. Anyways, but
Although those are some of my like more freeing and favorite conversations is the pre-recorded ones that no one's listening at the time.
yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like I'm not on stage, and I feel more comfortable personally
sure. Yeah, they are good ones.
because I'm
When we do
because I
the
don't have to worry about listener counts or anything like that. I'm not looking down going, oh, who's in the room? Oh, I better not say something bad about Lou. I would, but
I was going to say, what bad thing would you say about Lou? Jesus, that's like trying to find
his
something.
mustache is too beautiful.
That's like trying to find something shitty to say about Fendel. Like, come on. It's just not going to happen. Speaking of Fendel, let's get down to that business here. That was an amazing space. By the way, definitely have to once again give a shout out to Creatress for joining us and hanging out with us and giving us such good vibes and talking about her life. That was so amazing. There was so much more to talk about. And next week we do have One of One Neo is going to be our guest. But let's get to the business at order. Fendel, how are you doing, man? Do you have time to talk with us for a little bit?
Yeah, brother. It's really, really great to talk to you guys. That was such a great interview. I just want to reiterate that, like, wow, like, Creatress, if you're still listening, I just really enjoyed seeing your art and hearing your story. That was amazing. So, cheers. And yeah, what a great interview, you guys. Congrats.
Thanks, man.
So Findle, the real reason why you haven't been in the space for the last 2 weeks is because I've also been on vacation. Is that why? That's what I heard.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, we've been hanging out.
Bastards.
Yeah, I had family in town from Jerusalem for a couple weeks, and then one of the Tuesdays was also MLB week here in Major League Baseball week here in Seattle, and I've been working at.
Did you go to the home run derby?
You know, I didn't get to go. I didn't get to go to those events. Those events were really, really spendy. But I did get to go to the red carpet intro, which was at Pike Place Market, right in front of our booth, and that was amazing. And Jane actually won tickets to have like this view box, so we got to see all the players, and it was pretty dope. So. And there was just like there was just so much going on that week. It was insane. But yeah, and then I've had family in town, so I've missed you guys a couple of weeks. But
all right, well that sounds acceptable.
We tease, man. We of course always appreciate your support there.
No, Willie, you got to be a little harder on him.
Well, I miss you guys. When I'm not there, of course.
Get him to pick up the stick. Come after me.
Yeah.
Push hard so he pushes back.
Do some of that smack talking that he does. That
we've
heard him do. Right?
There we go.
That's right. Cool. Well, that's awesome. I was gonna say Jerusalem, man. That must be a haul. Like, how long does it take to get here? That's got to be. That's got to be.
It's about a 14-hour. 14 hours in the air or so.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe a little longer actually. Like, it is a long haul. Yeah, maybe 16 hours. I don't know. It's a long haul. But those guys, my family though, they've been here all summer, and they have 4 kids, so they're going to summer camp, and my sister and brother-in-law work while they're kind of also on vacation.
Nice.
So yeah. So they've been here for a while, and they go to see my my folks, and then, my brother-in-law's folks in Minnesota, and like, so that's what's up. They've been here for all summer.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
It's like so crazy, but it's a long haul though, as far as a trip goes.
Yeah. Well, it's good. That's good that they make good use out of it anyways, not just like popping in, okay, well, we're here for 2 weeks, now we're going to go back, we haven't even gotten over the jet lag we had from getting here.
Exactly. Yeah, they've been here most all summer, since I think like June or so, something like that. So yeah, they usually rent their place out in Jerusalem, and then work, and then kids go to camp while they're in the States. So California, mostly Southern California, and Northern California, and then my folks, of course, are in Portland, so they spent a lot of time there.
West Coast. It's all about the West Coast. All about the West Coast. Awesome. Well, it's good to have you in here. I was stoked to see you pop in. I knew you were still around.
Oh yeah.
I knew you didn't totally hate us, but yeah, it was all good. That's good. Well, you released a piece with Ronan last week, was it? Or a week before?
Heck yeah. Yeah, last week. Yeah. Super excited about that. Of course. Yeah, Val and I, geez, it's like 22 collaborations since 2021 or so.
Wow.
Incredible. Anyway, yeah, this new one is really neat. A bunch of sound design, spaceship, flying kind of almost first person.
Yeah, that was, I picked up that piece. That was, what was it called? It was like low level orbit or something, or what no, I can't remember what it was called now. Not coming up on my computer.
Low orbital jump.
Yeah, okay, that sounds about right. You should. I'm not gonna
I'm
question.
not even looking at it. And I'm just like, wait, what was it
I'm
called?
not even. I gotta. You could just throw whatever you want because you're the creator. So I mean, I'm just like, yeah, right. Oh, it totally was called that. And I don't know why mine's not. Oh, it's because I'm not in the right thing. Owned. I got it right here. It should be.
Oh yeah, thank you for picking that up. By the way, I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
absolutely. Always my pleasure. Always my pleasure to collect your stuff. Yeah, and it's not even coming up for me very. Oh, there it is. Suborbital. Yeah, suborbital jump. Jesus, I couldn't even say it. Blah 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 blah. It was that. It's nice. People go look at it and buy it. It's awesome. Jesus, stop grilling me, people. No, that was a great piece. And in your Tez tones, you got a you all got a piece coming up here pretty quick.
We do. The 11th is the due date for the next match. So yeah, we are actually in the middle of mixing the music, and yeah, it's coming along. I'm really excited about it. There's a lot to this music. I mean, there's got to be like at least 20 different tracks of different instruments. So I'm really stoked on it.
Whoa. Well, I've seen a couple.
20 different instruments?
It's got to be, yeah, because I recorded at least 10 tracks of different instruments here, and I know Carmelo has 6 or 7. So I mean, and he was planning on putting more percussion on too. Like, go ahead, man. Absolutely. Speaking of West Coast, that guy is in.
I don't even know if I can name 20 instruments right now.
Oh, sure you could.
It's like when you get into saxophone.
I mean, let's see. It's got like flute, bass clarinet, alto, several synthesizers, of course, and then I used a bunch of different percussion, like maracas and this Brazilian cuica and some wood blocks, and like there's just a bunch of stuff in there, little like shakers and
okay.
And
I was
what else?
I was gonna ask if in those 20 instruments too, if like tape loops or some of that stuff that you do, if you count that as an instrument. Not saying that it's not, but like.
Oh yeah, I fully
if that's
count
what
that
you
as
count.
an instrument. I feel like those loops have a voice all their own. But yeah, I did not do anything like that on this one. More just like straight up, real audio, kind of more standard and world instruments. And then I used the BBC Orchestra VST, which is like amazing, and I think it was free too, which is even crazier. That they just give that to producers and creators. It's a phenomenal library that's all MIDI, but like real orchestra sound. So yeah, I recorded French horns, full string section, oboe, bassoon, and several more like percussion instruments in there. So there's all those parts too.
Jeez.
Right? Full symphony, like basically.
God, I guess.
Yeah. And they're real sounds, those were real people playing those samples, Granted, I'm playing them live on a keyboard, but those were originally, recorded by the BBC Orchestra. It's ridiculous. Like, how is this possible? Like, that I have these tools for free? It's kind of mind blowing, actually. Like, the sounds are so good, so it's really inspiring to see that kind of come together.
You did say wooden blocks too, right?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
actually, yeah, I have those for reals. Like somebody gave me these temple blocks. I have like 20 of them. I don't get to use them very
Are
often.
they
But
are they
That's
all
cool.
different types of wood, or are they
they're
all
all,
made out of some
yeah,
like the same kind of wood?
yeah, they're all the same kind of wood, but they're different shapes so that they have different tones, high to low.
Okay. What, are we talking like a real hardwood, like a maple
Yeah,
or a
yeah.
walnut or?
I'm not really sure what it is. It's probably one. It's probably one of those. Hard. It's definitely a hardwood. Um,
It's not your off the shelf pine or
Yeah.
your treated redwood that you're going to build a fence with.
exactly, and you have to have the right, the right kind of like
Grain.
beater tool. Like you don't damage the things, but they do sound really nice.
Yeah. I dig woodblock like that stuff. It's a cool sound, man. I mean, that's I think the thing that I like about it the most is it's very primal. I mean, it's as primal as it gets, really, right?
I learned something new. I was thinking like Foley work only, but yeah, I definitely learned something new here.
Not in the
Yeah, I
hands of.
mean, they're really neat. Like, I would not even own them if they weren't given to me, but I've definitely recorded, like, just gone out and recorded, like, just big giant bamboo, and just whacked it with with different with different sticks, attenuators, and,
Mhm.
and recording that and then making the samples. So that's a really nice way of, like, owning the sample library and being able to get different kinds of tones that are very like that's like I mean that's so natural, like you're just whacking a tree basically.
Hell yeah. Go over
Do you
there and
guys
grab
do
a
you guys
couple rocks. Let's play a tune.
do you have
Exactly.
natural bamboo forests up there?
Yeah, up at the well there's yeah. Not I It's not natural obviously. Like I don't think that there's any like really indigenous to
It's like imported
Seattle.
and invasive.
Oh no.
Exact, or
Yeah.
it's imported and like they've grown it intentionally in places. There's the Chinese garden, which is close to me, that
Okay.
has several different bamboos that are there's like a bamboo forest up there that they planted
Well, I,
intentionally, and it's
I guess
beautiful.
I guess the question I'm really getting at is like where did you hit this bamboo at? Like was it
Chinese garden, yeah,
okay?
it's part of South Seattle Community College, and there's a beautiful garden. It's about 5 minutes from my place,
And
and I've recorded a bunch of sounds up there because there's different trees and different streams and stuff, and
Did they get mad at you? Like, what are you doing? You're like,
yeah,
no,
no,
no, no, I'm just cutting
Fendel's
the
not.
grass. I'm just cutting the grass.
Fendel's not allowed. He's not allowed in the garden anymore.
Yeah.
I definitely have looked weird with a bunch of weird sound, you know, microphones and stuff, like
I don't know.
definitely looked geeky up there, like
I think in Seattle, I think it would have been people would have been just like, oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't have blinked an eye at it.
Well, definitely not in California. You wouldn't have.
Not
But
in Seattle.
oh,
No, not in
no, in
Seattle.
Seattle, I'd be like, yeah, no, that's just typical. That's no big deal.
No, and like in my part of California, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Where'd you get that bamboo? In the
You can't
desert.
record the sound of heat, motherfucker.
That's all I was thinking when you said that. Does bamboo grow up there? And like, it grows up there, but then it's like I was like, oh no, totally. I remember, the Haida, the up in the Pacific Northwest there, the Haida Indians. They were totally building, bamboo huts back in the day. No, that's
Well,
not true.
I
That's
knew
not
it wouldn't
true.
have been I knew
That's
it would
not
have
true.
been native, but
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, no,
there's like we have a ton of eucalyptus around here. It's not native.
right. Yeah, no, I was just
Super
kind of
invasive.
I was kind of thinking about that because actually my favorite indigenous art that exists up here in Canada that I really enjoy. Because it's probably because I lived on the West Coast so long, but there was the Haida, and they just man, the totem poles and the lodges they would build up there. Obviously, they had really great building tools with this giant cedars and stuff that kicked around there. But man, I fell in love with that art. That has been some of my most favorite art that I've ever seen in my life. Anyways, it's kind of going off there on a tangent.
God,
That's
I like it.
I don't know. I don't know what they played for. I don't know what they did for music. I really don't. That's very interesting now. Now I'm gonna have to go searching. Okay, well I'm gonna end the show. Okay, guys, I gotta go Google. Anyway, no, no, for sure. No, it's cool.
Okay, I
Sorry, as
want to
I
go back
choke
to these
and
wood
die.
blocks since you're answering questions tonight, Pendle. Um, well, because you said you wouldn't have owned them unless they were given to you. Are they like are they somewhat expensive then?
Yeah, I think that those temple blocks, if you were to buy them new, they would be some money for sure. Like, I mean, each one is different, and I don't know how many of them I have, like maybe 15 of them or so.
I was gonna say it's definitely probably one of those things that if you went to look in a music store, an instrument store, and you'd probably go, "Holy shit, really? Like, those are worth that much?"
Are we talking like $50, $100 a block? More? A little bit less? Like
Uh,
I gotta have an idea of what we're talking about here.
yeah, like that's a really interesting idea. Like, I don't even know if I've ever really priced them out.
Oh
Like,
Jesus,
but
Willie, I'll Google it.
I'm sure that the set is, probably somewhere in, 400 or 500 bucks for like a really nice set of, temple blocks, like almost symphony type of style temple blocks, for percussion. It's a really specific thing, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's
Okay. So so you said if you would go to buy them new, I'm thinking, would you
Yep.
even want them new? I feel like
Um,
that's the kind of instrument that you might want a little bit worn in, a little bit broken in, little love to it already.
Yeah,
Give you a
and
little more
these ones
unique
have
sound.
that. These ones have that for sure. And I'm just kind of looking it up on the computer. Just like the beginning, like 5-piece temple blocks is like 400 bucks. So yeah, like I have
Jeez.
There we
15
go.
of them. So there you go. Like,
So
and
75,
and
80
these
bucks a
ones are
piece.
nice. Like it's not even a deal. Like these things are beautiful looking. I'll take a photo of them later and share that with you. Yeah, maybe I didn't really realize what I had either,
Now,
or
now,
how nice the gift was. But I was pretty darn happy to receive them
yeah.
for sure. My uncle gave them to me and was just not using them, and I was like, "Oh hell yeah, I will use those."
Yeah. Well, you're definitely. I mean, from what I've
Seeing
known,
ash, so we're definitely in very hardwood territory.
Oh yeah, like looking up further, they'd be about 50 bucks a pop. So there you go.
Well, hot
Um,
damn.
there you go.
yeah. So yeah, those wood blocks they do cost some money. That's why I was like, that's something that I would never like just go out and just really like buy. Yeah, 50 to 100
Hey, let
bucks
me
a
just
pop,
let me just
like,
borrow them for a week so I can copy them so I can get the tones right. Just make my own.
heck yeah. I mean, maybe I should be making sound packs and just giving them away.
There you go. That's it. That was funny when you were talking about the samples earlier and just now like the sound making a sound pack or something. I remember it was really back in the in the 80s when earlier synthesizers and it's like, oh man, like check out my synth. Here's a trumpet sound, and you'd like play the trumpet sound and how it would sound and everything. And it's like now when I mean, obviously those sounds are definitely utilized nowadays when you're going for a specific sound. But it's like nowadays you can, like you said, you can have samples that are like exactly bang on, and they're the real instrument that's been sampled, as compared to the synthetic stuff that used to be made back in the 80s, which has its place. Synthwave.
Oh yeah.
I love synthwaves for sure.
Okay,
No,
Phil. I think I have one last question before I get off of wood blocks.
yeah.
Can you play us a little bit right now? Is that possible?
Can I play some?
Yeah. So I know what it sounds like.
Sure, yeah. Let me just go grab those things and I'll pull them out for a second and
That's
I'll
awesome.
demonstrate.
Fendel's
Love Twitter Spaces.
Fendel's not around
I
for a
love
couple weeks, and then as soon as he's on, Willie's freaking like, "All right, Fendel, we're putting you to work live."
Yeah, no,
That's all
like,
good.
I'll like grab all these things out, like, Let's check
I
it
mean,
out.
just hit a couple of them. I just want to hear what they sound like. Really, I don't want.
Send it.
I don't want. I don't want to make a big production thing.
No, this is going to be a production. I want like at
This
least
this is going to be one of those things like starting the golf cart where you can't hear it.
right.
It gets drowned out.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Well, that gives you kind of an idea.
Yeah,
Definitely a variety.
I don't know that I could ever pick that out in a song that I've heard previously. I might be able to now, but I don't know about previously.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 10 of them here. Yeah. They're nice.
Well, that's very
That's
cool.
wild.
Thank you, Fendel, for that.
Heck yeah. I'm always happy to share, I've got like a bunch of really interesting, instruments kicking around. There's actually a saxophone that I might really, really, really want to buy in Calgary. Can you go over there and check that out, Bits?
Absolutely, homie. I would do that in a second for you, man. I wouldn't know what the hell I'm checking out, but we could go FaceTime it.
Just give it a quick blow for me, yeah, would you?
I would do it. And then we'd
It
all
would just be, I would just all I'd need to do is ask you about 3 questions about it, looking at it live, and that would be about it.
I would do that for you in a heartbeat, my man. There wouldn't even be a hesitation. Not at all. You betcha.
Yeah.
Now he's just playing like losing the closet making lasers. Now Fendel's just playing in the background.
Yeah, right. We're gonna see that piece. Laser Lou just created a piece with Fendel playing the temple blocks in the background. I just found this. Let's listen to this. Let's see what this comes up with. Here's a temple block traditional style drum solo.
Are we going to
Dude.
judge the two to see which one's better? Because I'm waiting for you to play it. I thought you just had the metronome on.
No.
But my vote definitely goes to Fendel.
Right. You know what's very interesting is that these blocks were set up on top of the bass drum that was being used was like a big I guess like a marching band style bass drum, but it was put on its side and the blocks were set up on top of the bass drum. It was very interesting. Anyways, I just found that. I didn't get to pre-listen to it. I was like I would have picked a better one, if I could have, but just throwing it up there. It's pretty damn good, I thought. It's all right.
Yeah. I just thought Fendel was better.
Like Fendel next piece that Fendel does, you watch, is gonna have freaking wood blocks. Well, I guess
that's what he
the
already
Tez
said it
tones.
does.
That's right. The Tez tones piece is gonna have.
That's how we got here.
That is. I forgot about that. I heard. And
I do remember how we got here.
So just kind of circling back to that though, when you talked about there's 20 tracks in the piece that you guys are creating. There's about 20 instruments tracked right now. I've noticed. So I can't remember who the other 2 pieces were that I've heard the teasers from, but man, like it's going to another level again. Like from what I've heard already, like these pieces have just gone totally through the roof once again, and it's going to be crazy to hear the final ones.
Oh yeah. Actually, the ones that were in like last place or whatever, the last round, I was like, wait, these are sick. Like every single one is so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's, once again, the whole, like, I mean, I guess this time, this past round was, at least it wasn't like just five judges, right, that were doing it. So nobody had to like actually make these decisions. It was all incognito through Google Forms, which was nice because who wants, like, even when I was voting for them, I was like, well, this one, and they're like, okay, which one did you like fifth most? And I'm like, well, this, okay, well, not this one. Maybe this one should be up, and I like this one third. Okay, right? Like it was really tough for me to actually make decisions on that, on picking the pieces. But yeah, now again, like I can't wait to hear these finalized pieces from this round. It's going to be like crazy because from what I've heard already and what you've talked about tonight, like, man, they're going to be off the hook.
Oh yeah, it's going to be really, really fun, I think. And yeah, that last round was incredible. Mi Ratratito and Shadow and like Para's piece, all those pieces were so good,
Right?
like so good. Um,
And I mean, Para was working on her portion of her piece, in the middle of a bloody crazy heat wave down there in Greece.
oh my goodness, I know. I've talked to her several times, and then we were in the metaverse the other day, and she was rapping in Greek.
What?
Yes, and it
Dope, dope,
sounded
dope, dope.
amazing. Like we were all like, "What the hell?" Like all like Bases and Hash Brown and I were just like, "What the hell? We didn't know that you did this or whatever." And like, she sounded amazing.
That's
It
so
was so
cool.
sick. I was like, "Wow."
Once
I
again,
should,
once
well,
again,
like,
just showing,
where did that come from? Like,
right? No, she's a super. Well, everybody that's involved in that project that has been brought together with that Tones project are crazy, amazing people, including yourself as well. Um, like the the talent that has gotten together, that it believes in what's going on, and that are competing in these events, like it's really through the roof. When you once again, you look at the roster of who's involved, and it's like it's very, very, even the visual artists that are involved are very, very amazing artists in the space, and it's so cool that you're all coming together.
oh yeah, it is really exciting time for
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can only imagine that, one day we're gonna all actually be in the same place in real life, and I'm just gonna lose it, man. I don't even know. Like I know these people so well.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's gonna be really epic. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
That kind of gives me goosebumps just thinking about that.
Oh my
I'd be
goodness.
excited for you
I don't
guys.
know how it's gonna really happen, but
Yeah,
it's
there's a
going
lot.
to happen one of these days.
Yeah, there's a lot of distance there. There's a lot of countries involved. How many countries do we know? How many countries are involved in Tones?
I think the last I heard it was like 13 countries or something like that.
And once again, the beautiful fact that we can just you can, or sorry, you all can just work together like it's no big deal, right? You can communicate and talk to each other like you're right next door. It's not a The only thing you can't do is physically reach out and hug somebody, right?
That is true. But it is just so exciting to work with people on the other side of the planet.
Right.
And I mean, I, yeah, I'm always just blown away by it. Um, yeah, speaking of which, I'm going to be working on a piece with Taya Ferdinand again. So I'm really excited. Who's in Sweden by way of Ukraine, of course.
I was gonna say Ferdinand had to be out that way.
Yeah, I
Ferdinand.
just love her art. We're doing this piece. It's gonna be like Twin Peaks. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be so cool.
It's like, as in, it's gonna be like a weird early '90s show.
Yes, I mean, well, animated,
Right. Oh, really?
art, music. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Cool. Cool. That's awesome.
Very
Yeah,
I'm
exciting.
excited.
I wasn't thinking the show. I was thinking the Hooters clone restaurant. But now that you say the show, I'm like, yeah, that's even weirder.
Oh, that's right, Twin Peaks. I think the only Twin Peaks I've ever seen is in Vegas. I've never been in, but
I don't even know how many of them there are
I
anymore.
laughed. I laughed at that when I saw it. Um, just as we're chatting around here too, if anybody else in the room wants to come up and shoot the shit, tell us something, make a comment on something, feel free. We're just kind of hanging out now. Um, gonna roll with it for a little bit longer. We haven't chatted with Fendel in a while, so it was good to chat with him, and we'll keep chatting with Fendel too until Fendel says, "Fuck it, you guys are kicked out of your own space." Good,
Yeah, but
good.
he's West Coast. He doesn't go to bed easy.
No, right? I'm only one time zone over, but I have to get up at 6 a.m. But that doesn't stop me. Don't worry. I'm just sitting here inside my studio right now, and I'm like, fucking. I was just sitting here going, man, I'm sweating. And then I was thinking outside. It's probably really nice outside. I wish the freeway wasn't out there. I think there's too much background noise out there for me to actually, do an episode out there.
It it finally got nice where I'm at.
Oh, yeah? What are you down to, like 92?
Honestly, I don't know. It cooled down, and finally once the sun went down and it got a little breeze, it's a nice little
Holy.
nice breeze.
So, speaking of weather and temperature, something I heard today that I didn't realize. So, off the coast of Florida, they had water temperatures. Hang on here, I got to do the conversion. Which they had.
96 degrees or something like that.
Yeah, okay, that makes about
Yeah.
sense because it was 36 degrees Celsius or something, and I was like, oh my God, that is horrible. Like, that's it. Like, things die in that. Like, water temperatures should not be
Oh,
shooting
but
up
we have
like
to
that.
walk around in the air with it. Come on,
Well, I'm just saying, like, that's really
these
bad.
dumb
Like,
sharks can live in that. Oh wait, they're cold blooded.
fuck.
Maybe they can't.
Yes. Yeah, cold-blooded shit doesn't like.
Oh wait. Whole different biome system, right?
Yeah.
Never mind. Maybe
But
they
yeah,
can't.
I couldn't believe that when I heard that. I was like, wow. I was like, that's like off. That's crazy. That's off the hook, man. Like that's wild that even happened. I don't know where I
Yeah,
was going.
that's a rough one.
Yeah, we don't want
That's
to
a
try.
rough one.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, and then it was like 152 in Dubai a couple weeks
Oh
ago.
yeah, yeah, I remember that. And then it said in uninhabitable conditions
Yeah.
are uninhabitable for humans or unacceptable for humans or animals.
You- So the funny part about that uninhabitable word there is UPS and FedEx drivers have been complaining for years about their working conditions inside their trucks in the middle of the summer because their trucks routinely get to 140, 150 degrees inside the cab.
Right.
Yeah,
That's why they're always driving around with the door open.
yeah. So if you want your packages to come to your door, maybe support your UPS and FedEx drivers.
I'm not a fan of UPS. But anyway, that's it. We're not going
What
to talk about
what what did Brown do to you?
it. I just don't like them because the way it works up here is like when I order something from the States or wherever and comes into the country, the duties and everything, they always charge the maximum rate that they can, whether
Uh,
they have to or not. And as soon as I found that out, anytime if somebody, nope, I don't, no UPS, nope, sorry, not interested in that at all. That's shady. Because I just noticed that a lot of the times when I was like, especially years ago when I was always ordering all kinds of crazy weird stuff from China, just cause, um, I was noticing the shipping on similar items was like it was always different. Like when it would come in, like the duties and taxes and everything like that. So I started really looking into it, and UPS was their thing. It's like if there's a percentage rate that they can charge you, they'll always charge you the max. They'll always charge you the max.
so
And even if
do
it doesn't get inspected, they will charge you whatever
do
the
you
rate would have
pay
been.
do you pay it at the time of purchase
No,
or do you pay it
no, it's a surprise.
separately?
It's a surprise after. It's your
Oh,
package is
that's
here.
shitty.
It's your package is here, but if you want it, right? Whereas if like a pure later, I'll use an example. I don't know if
Now, is this hold on? Is this because you send it to the U.S.
No,
or
I'm
you're
talking
sending it
about if
straight
I
to your
bring it to
house in Canada?
when I buy things and they come into Canada. So
Okay.
if they don't always, not everything gets inspected by duties, right? The border patrol doesn't inspect every damn package. So if it doesn't get inspected and it doesn't get stopped, then there's never usually any extra fees. There might be some brokerage or whatever, but UPS always charges you like it's been inspected or there's been duty slapped onto it right away. Like it doesn't matter whether it has or not, which seems really shady to me, but I guess it's not.
I mean, other than that, they're they're going full maximum to begin
Yeah,
with.
yeah, yeah. No, that's where I
But
was
now
like,
let's
yeah.
take the
So
max.
I just don't ship through them. I don't buy things if it has to go through UPS. I'm just like, nope, no,
I
thank
mean,
you.
not that a multinational global corporation needs a benefit of the doubt, but my only thought could be that they
Now
just don't have a big footprint in Canada,
you
and
just
so they're like, well, we just need to get every piece of pie we can
you're
while we
just
can
you're
because we don't
just
have that big a
you,
footprint.
no, they do. I mean, I mean, UPS, Pure Later, or FedEx, they all got the same footprint in Canada. Like, period. It's like, I mean, it is what it is. But I don't know, Willie. Why are you against everything I've said tonight?
I'm just questioning, man. I haven't been able to question anybody in the past 3 weeks, so I just got to get my questions out there. I'm not against
I'm
it.
just
I'm just making the
I'm harassing.
questions.
I'm bugging you, homie. Yeah, yeah. No, I just but they do it. I don't know. Whatever the reasoning is, it's really odd. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
my
super
beef.
interesting.
That's my beef that I have. Oh damn, Fendel put in a picture of his blocks there. Look at that.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
down
are
in
a
the
few of them
bottom of
right
the
there.
Cool.
feed there.
I pinned him up to the top now. Might as well put him up there on the jumbotron for everybody to see.
Those definitely look like walnuts, by the way.
Just
I'm
be
no wood expert, but I've
wh-
cut a piece or two.
what does the guy in the desert know about wood? Come on, man.
A lot. I know that those look exactly like my cabinets, and I could probably cut my cabinets down a
Could
bit.
have just been stained that color though. Mm-hmm.
Nah, you can tell by the graining sometimes,
Right?
or most of the time.
Says the guy in the desert.
That doesn't mean we don't get
Rich,
imported wood.
our homie Rich Sanders, he dropped a couple two new pieces this morning. I bought one of them. Sorry,
Yeah, I saw those. I like those.
just paused up there. Well, I was just thinking too. Also too. Uh, since we have synth skull down there, House of the Model dropped a new piece this morning as well. There was a few new things. I didn't buy one of those yet, but there's a few new things that I was all like I bought today. I purchased some pieces. Sorry, I was looking through my object here as we were going. That's why I kind of went off on it. I bought some stuff today. There were some good things to buy.
What's House of the Model?
House of the Model, it's banned. Or no, hang on. Did I say that right? Maybe I didn't say
It's
that right.
what? It's a band?
Yes. Hang on. Let me go. I don't want to totally quote it out right. How the hell was it said? Here?
American Electronic
Yeah.
Music Group.
The Model is an American electronic music group. The house is where the model is made. So, anyways, they do a lot of synth wave pieces. I guess is the best way to describe it. Says the guy that has an NFT music
Oh,
podcast.
and this synth skull is a member of House of
Yeah.
the Model. Oh, all right,
Yeah.
all right.
Sorry, did I get? I just got a little flustered.
No,
We got
I just
all these famous
just
people in the room
I haven't seen
tonight.
him
I'm just
before.
like, yeah, no, really happy. He popped in tonight. Thank you very much. I've been a collector for a
There.
bit. I'm not exactly sure where my eyes got opened up to House of the Model. I'm not sure if they were part of the Tape Loop City, maybe. But yeah, I pick up pieces here and there whenever they get dropped. Look through some of their older stuff. It's really cool. I enjoy it very much. But yeah, just happened to notice there was a piece up there today as well. And I just noticed that I haven't bought it yet. So many things to buy. Spreading the Tez. I actually sold off a threesomes card, and I've been like living off of that Tezos
Yeah?
sale. Yeah, I sold an insert. I think I did like 80 Tez off of it or something like that.
Like a red leather.
Oh, what was it? You told me trash. It was a trash, one of those trash bins, I think, or something.
Trash can.
Trash can, might have been.
Just the regular one,
No, it
the
was
first one.
the rookie one. Was it the rookie one? I don't remember now, but it was a trash can or whatever.
I'm gonna search your wallet and shame you for not offering me that first.
No, no, I
Especially if
think
I already, especially if I paid extra for it.
you told me to sell it.
Did
So, yeah, you did.
and I didn't say sell it to me.
Nope. And if you didn't, that's your fault. You were on vacation. Maybe your brain wasn't there. Oh, dude, I downloaded this I purchased Paul who is a ghost had tweeted that Pers Beats and Espinoza did a collab, and he had just tweeted, he's like, I don't know how this isn't sold out yet, and I went and checked it out, and it was a dope piece. It's a really good, it's got a really cool soundtrack to it, and it's got a really dope AI generated and then glitched video to it that's just really, really amazing. I'm trying to find it here because I didn't make a tweet out of it, but I should put it up because it's really cool. If there's any left, people should definitely buy it. What else did I buy? We didn't talk about anything we bought over the past week at the beginning of
I
the
haven't
space.
bought anything, so
No?
that's why.
Well, you were on vacation.
Yeah.
Ooh, Mr. On vacation. Yeah. Yeah, actually, a lot of the stuff that I did end up getting was gifted to me by either Texadelic or some of the backstage passengers. So I guess I accumulated a lot over the last week, but I didn't purchase necessarily a lot of it. About that.
Yeah, Soapbox dropped us something, and their partner S888S8, something like that.
Yeah, that was the Gnomes. The Gnomes Gone Rogue. Gnomes Gone Rogue.
Tex dropped us something.
Tex dropped us a few. I bought a Bill Knight.tez Archimedes 5. I bought that one.
Me Raptor Tito dropped us something recently.
Bill Knight's ripping it up. That's Fendel's homie.
Yeah, I like Bill Knight stuff.
Yeah, really do. Absolutely do.
Actually, is Retro Manny's episode 4 still on sale?
Yes, he's going to burn it soon though. If you haven't got one of those, you should pick one of those up.
Nah, he burnt it.
What's that?
Done. He burnt it. He burnt it. It's done.
Did he burn it? You didn't get one?
Yeah, no, I got 3, I think, or I got at least 2.
Oh, he did burn it. Yeah, it's down to 45 pieces there.
Yeah, I got 2.
So I binged them the other day. I did all 4 of the episodes on the TV in the living room. I loved it. That was awesome to listen to. Like his wife's voice is perfect.
I haven't even listened to chapter 4. I gotta go back. It's almost done.
Well, it was kind of cool that I did it because I had listened to the first 3 pieces individually, like when I purchased them, and then when the 4th one came out, I was like, oh well, I'm just gonna go back and listen to all these. And the fact that they're like 10 minutes long, like it's cool. It's a really cool concept. It's a good story.
Yeah, there's gonna be 9 or 10. How many are gonna be total?
I think 9, if memory serves me correct. But
I know is it took me forever to get chapter 2, and then Retro Manny himself, accepted an offer I had on chapter 2, and I felt really bad. So I gotta, once I get some Tez again, I gotta put another offer in and try to get another one to give it back to him. He's like, yeah, I always like to keep one for myself. And I'm like, why'd you accept an offer, dude? Like, I'm not trying to get an offer from you.
I think mine was
from somebody who's not paying attention.
That's right, because I remember that was when we interviewed him on the space on the night train when we did the pre-recorded.
No, this is way after though.
No,
like
but I mean that was when we realized.
Like a couple weeks ago.
But I was going to say that was when we realized that we had both missed out on chapter 2.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah.
And then I made an offer, and it was actually Paper Buddha accepted my offer for me to get my chapter 2. So it's fun when you have an adventure to collect, when you're on the hunt for something, waiting for that Tez to get accepted.
Yeah, I like when you put like a really low ball offer on something, like I don't know, half a Tez on something that originally sold for like 3 Tez maybe, and then it's like 5 or 6 months later, like you forget you even have the offer out. 5 or 6 months later, you're like, Oh shit! I still had an offer on that.
Somebody needs that half a Tez really bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is
yeah. Like
hilarious when that happens.
I have a super low ball offer on a TJ Hinos piece still, um, that I'm waiting to get accepted. Still, it's been out there for like 6 months, but like it's an edition of like I don't know 150 or something like that, and it's not super low ball. Like it originally sold for like one Tez, and I have like a half Tez offer on it. I'm like, someone's gonna pop this eventually.
Right? Hell yeah. Just gotta wait the waiting game. And I mean, when you put the money out there, it's when you put the Tez out there. I mean, it's there. It's just hanging out. So it's like it's no sweat off of you.
Yeah, it's not working for you if you're, if you're a flipper and in a flipper's market or something like that. It's not working for you.
Hmm.
You can't. It'd probably be better off to try to find something for a half a test, flip it for 2% every day. Over the past 6 months, it would have been better to do that, and I could have actually just bought the lowest offer at this point. But I don't know. I don't have that kind of time, and I think it's funner to get low ball offers accepted.
Yeah, you gotta have time to play that game. Oh, Texadelic put out a new mixtape. Was it? No, he didn't. He just relisted it. Never mind. I bought a new I bought a new mixtape from Texadelic, but yeah, I thought about that for a second. I'm like, no, it's not new. It's old. Relisted.
I mean, his collection though, like like Mike Nash, you can just go through it and go like, what? I swear I've looked at this entire collection 4 times, and why do I still find new stuff?
Mm-hmm. Um, him and Gibberish Umbra. They just got. I just saw this. There's an open edition. No, it's not an open edition. What is this listing? Where did this come from? All right, now I gotta stop. I gotta stop searching and trying to do a space at the same time because now I'm getting all way too deep into this. Like, where did this come from? Why don't I have one of these? Do I need to load Tez? No. What am I doing?
Okay, did they make an open edition collab?
No,
Open
no,
edition?
no, it's not. It's not. No, I was mixing two things up here because I have my computer
Well,
screen on and I have my phone going, so I'm doing way too much.
because I was gonna say like, how weird did that conversation start to go last week?
Yeah,
I
right.
was like, where is this going? And Tex is like, yeah, no, let's hear it. I'm like, all right.
Yeah,
Like, oh shit, did I answer the wrong question?
no, that definitely had some awkward silences there for a few moments. And if anybody
Yeah,
wants to hear it,
I
definitely
couldn't tell
highly recommend.
if it was getting awkward or if it was just
Yeah,
like me
entertainment.
thinking it was awkward.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We all sat there and we were all waiting for the answers. And for anybody that's interested, you can go back and listen to that space. It was actually a very good, entertaining space. It was quite. There was a lot going on in that space last week with Texadelic and the backstage passengers. I'm kind of stoked for One of One Neo next week. I'm not never. I shouldn't say kind of stoked. I am stoked for One of One Neo. That'll be awesome because I think last December, November, I was thinking about we should have One of One Neo on, but because just he was doing the collab with Jay Byrne at that time, Miami Nights, and
Yeah.
yeah, and I remember listening to his stuff, and I was in a couple spaces where I chatted with him in the morning with Jay Byrne when Jay Byrne does his wake and bake spaces in the morning. Yeah, so that'll be really cool to have him on, and to have Dehi Sense on as well. We definitely got to touch base with her and get her in on the spreadsheet so that we know when we're going to have her on. Canadian homie. Yeah, Canadian homies.
Yeah, I I think we should be good to go the following week, not necessarily the following week
Yeah,
with
because
her.
after the 10th is,
Um,
I think, what you said. So.
I just didn't confirm it with her because I was out, and I think now she's on vacation, so I can confirm that with her. I didn't. I needed to check with you to make sure we didn't have anybody else booked there. I guess
Heck yeah.
while I was waiting.
Let's get her on. That'll be a great conversation. She's got great artwork. Damn, I got something stuck in my throat tonight. Anyways, been a good space. Wow, my phone just came up with a warning for percentage. I'm in the red. It's the second time this has happened since I bought this new phone. It's been a hard day on the old phone. Speaking of
I'd send it
offers,
back. Tell them they need to send us new headsets.
Yeah. Actually, this phone is like seriously, when I get into the red on this iPhone 14, man, that means I put in some serious time. I would hate to see what the hell my screen time total was for today. It's probably just way more than any person should be on their phone. But
Speaking of which, I saw a headline come across today that there's a glitch in Apple's parent time, like their parental monitoring or blocking part of their. I don't know. I don't use it, obviously. Um, but there's apparently a bug or a glitch in it. Has been. So if you use that, make sure you look into that bug.
what's the
I'm
bug
sure it'll be
do?
patched soon though. I don't know. I was working. I just saw the headline come across, but you said screen time. It reminded me. So
Uh-huh.
like I said, I'm not the news source, but go ahead and look into that if that's something you use for your kiddos.
Track them children.
Yeah.
And see, it's so funny, everybody with when COVID was going on, and everybody's like, you got to get the vaccine when it came out, and then everybody's like, no, man, they're trying to control you. They're just trying to control us. They're, and it's like all of the children that are growing up. It's gonna be like, what are you guys talking about? Why were you guys bitching about that? You guys have been tracking and following us ever since we got our first phones. It's
Yeah. You know why? Because I grew up with the internet
yeah.
already, and it's gruesome on there.
Remember the good old days when the internet really was gruesome? I guess it
Oh, I
probably
thought I thought you were going to say, well, there's that too.
there's
What was what was the website that used to have like the Tupac autopsy photos and all that kind of shit?
Oh yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's you could probably still find it if you used like Bing. Right?
They haven't caught up yet. They still have it.
Right?
I
That's
thought you were going to say the web archives, but
no,
being was a much funnier joke.
right. Dude, there's a young dude at work who legitimately like uses Bing or something. Like he always talks. He's like, no, man, you just gotta stop using Google. Stop using Google. This is what you gotta use. And I'm like, yeah. And then he like hands me his phone to look at something. I'm like, I don't want to touch your phone.
Yeah, no thanks.
I don't know what you're looking at on Bing.
Yeah, yeah. And then everyone's like, use DuckDuckGo, use DuckDuckGo, and it's like, well, DuckDuckGo owns the stadium, so of course they have advertising and they're tracking everything you do.
Right?
Duh.
I don't really care. Anybody that wants to track me, fucking, even algorithms are going, man, this dude's boring. We're out
Well,
of here.
the
We're out of here.
algorithms suck anyways. So
We're out of here.
whatever.
Uh, I like the idea. I was listening there earlier this week about car companies. So y'all remember BlackBerry? I don't know if you ever. I mean, Blackberries were pretty big just before iPhones really kicked it. The shit out of them. But so
Please
there
tell us more, Grandpa.
so there is a
I'm
there
right
is
here.
I can't remember if the company's in Europe, but there's somewhere that's developing cars, and they've bought this. They're working with BlackBerry to use some of their technology to use this AI, but they're going to start, um, like companies are automobile companies are looking in pay to use situations for things. So if you have heated seats, they won't activate until you like pay for them.
Oh, not looking. BMW already does it.
Does it? Yeah, I heard Tesla might already do
Yeah.
it as well. That most of the stuff is
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Tesla does too, basically. Um, I mean, they basically build their cars with everything on it, and then they just turn them on if you pay. So
Right.
if you pay for each feature. But BMW is on like a yearly model of it. So like you could have heated seats this year and then not pay for it next year, kind of shit,
Right.
which is fucking stupid.
It is, but
That's stupid.
yeah, I guess it is. It's really odd. It's totally odd. But I guess the company that I heard about, so the um, news thing that I was listening to, they were talking about. So this company has bought this algorithm stuff, technology, so that they're going to start learning how to so your car will be able to promote it to you, like go, hey, winter's coming up. We've heard you shivering, like
Time to activate your heated seats
yeah,
for the month.
yeah. Can you tap your card on your dash? Oh,
Jesus.
what's the world coming to?
Yeah, yeah. BlackBerry never really went away. They moved to. I mean, they stopped making phones, obviously, but they stayed around as software
Yeah,
and
yeah, and that's
like
what
IC manufacturer.
this other company that's yeah, so they're buying some of their software, or whatever, or using it, or anyways. But yeah, that's interesting. I could go for a heated steering wheel in the wintertime. I could tell you that.
I could, have it all the time though, and then I could just turn the button on when I want it, and not have to pay for it monthly,
Yeah, well, fair enough.
like it's goddamn satellite radio.
Satellite radio. That was the one thing I regretted with satellite radio. Way, way back in the day when it first started. Well, when there was like XM and what was the other one? Sirius, well, XM
Series.
and Sirius, right? But you could have bought a lifetime membership. It
What
was
do you
like,
mean could have, my friend?
yeah, it was only like $200.
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah. Oh well, there you go. Well,
Yeah,
could have.
you can still find them on eBay, like fully activated
Oh, okay.
lifetime
Well, yeah, right.
radios,
That's different. But yeah, but I
but
remember that
they're
as like I should have. I thought about it. I should have back then. I should have, but
so
I'm way past that now. I've
yeah.
grown
So
up.
the thing that sucks about it is you can only transfer it to certain radios, right? And you can only transfer it 3 times, um, including if, like me, you got one of those radios stolen because you could only have it on a portable radio, which means a radio that could be stolen. So you get a radio stolen, well, that's one of your 3 transfers. So if they ever came out with any newer technology, like they did the next year, and I wanted to upgrade my radio, well, you couldn't transfer it again, or you could transfer it. If you had a transfer left, you could transfer one more time, and then you couldn't transfer it again if any newer technology came out. But like I said, that's why you can still find them on eBay fully activated, but they're like the shittiest of the radio models I've ever had. And half of them now like take won't receive like the XM. Like if you buy a serious model that has the lifetime, it won't receive the XM channels kind of thing. Like you only get like
Right.
half the channels because of the way that their channels still work on bouncing off of different satellites. It's funky, um, but yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't have
I
a
still
use
have
for it.
one. I have it in the mini, so I don't
Cool.
use it very often. Actually, I don't even know if it even fucking works anymore.
Yeah, ever since once I got my iPhone, once the iPhone started getting powerful enough and I could have giant playlists or stream everything, then I just didn't. It to me, it all of a sudden became like, I don't need it. I'm okay with that now. I've come to terms with it. I remember the
Yeah,
first,
plus you have Twitter Spaces you can listen to.
right? All the time. All the time. It's amazing. Like I've been clicking through the Twitter spaces that exist in a day. It's amazing how many Twitter spaces are going on at any given time. Like it's pretty wild.
Oh yeah, it's a ton.
And then I look at some of them and I look at what they're, I click on some of these ones that have like hundreds and hundreds of people in them and then I go on them and I'm like, "Really? Why are you all here? Why are you all listening to this?" I mean, I question why some people listen to us half the time, but well, I mean, when our guests are on, it's definitely I get it. But, when people stick with us, I'm like, but then I also go, we're better than some of the stuff that I click on at any given point in a day and check out. I'm just like, holy fuck, man. Especially when you get in,
Yeah.
especially when you get into the dude and bro space. Like, man, that just makes me want to shoot myself in the head.
Or are we still doing chill spaces? Is that still a thing? Because that's why I stopped listening to spaces
Yeah,
for
I
a long
think they're
time.
you know what what it is now is like it's shill spaces where they talk about how they don't like shill spaces and what they're doing. Well, we're not shilling right now. Well, we are, right? It's all it's been. It's been 2 hours of shilling, but
Yeah.
that's what they say now. That's how shill spaces go now. Is they shill their stuff while explaining that they don't like shilling and this isn't shilling. That's how it
So
goes now.
they're doing what we were doing a year ago. Only we weren't actually shilling. We were just talking to artists and letting them speak for themselves.
That's yeah, but they're no, but they're still shill spaces. Like they're still full on. They're not talking to artists. They're just pushing whatever the artist is just pushing whatever they're promoting at that time. It's still shill spaces. as we knew them.
I guess I'm just biased because I feel like we were there first. I feel like we were ahead of the curve on that one.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, we don't. We're totally a different deal. Like we're definitely interviewing, but that no, the shill spaces are still shill spaces. They just try to hide them as something else, but they still they only use words to describe them as something else. They're still, when you listen to them, they're exactly what a shill space was and has always been.
Yeah,
Always.
it's a quick elevator pitch,
Yeah.
not an interview.
Yeah. No, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah, Creatress tonight. Damn, man. I had a lot more questions as we were going through. I was happy that Fendel actually asked the question about the music because that was written here and I wanted to ask those questions, but whenever we were on that train of questioning, I've
Yeah, and
forgot
it's
about
like we said, you know, I don't wanna derail the train. I want to like just see where she's gonna take us,
Yeah.
and then so you just write things down and hopefully you come back, but then she goes, then she says, well, I got to get out of
Then
here.
she's like, I gotta feed my
Damn
family.
it.
She's like, I gotta feed my family.
I
Like,
gotta
come
feed
on,
my family.
come
Oh, come on.
right?
Yeah,
Just hold it. Like,
No, had a bunch more to ask her.
there's been some people that have held going to the bathroom for 3.5 hours to talk to us. That's all good. It's all good. Oh man. Well, homie, I don't know what my dog is freaking out about because the door is open. I just hear him in the background. He's like bitching at me, but I think that I think this is probably a good point to bring it to a natural ending. Just since my phone is gonna end it for us eventually here.
Yeah.
I'm shocked
See,
actually.
Paul D dropped in. Shout out Paul D.
Whoop,
Love
whoop.
the ghost piece. I gotta get one of those animated if they're still available. I wasn't able to pick one of those up yet.
Did you see that earlier today? I don't know if you noticed that. I shared it this morning. I think it was this morning, but Paldi had was at a market and selling some ghost stuff. Had T-shirts and stuff like that. It was dope.
Oh, very cool.
Then I asked about coffee mugs, and apparently it's on the way. Gotta get me some.
Yeah, how's the coffee this morning? Hopefully it's good.
He's loading up right now. Loading up right now. And that's what I think. I think that should be one of the first pizza. I'm gonna talk to I Am Wessel and to see who he does his merch through, because I think it would be really cool to do up some WX8BK merch and just have it right. You just have it up on a space and gets drop shipped and made whenever people order it.
Yeah, that's the key though. Is it like is not holding product on hand?
No, it won't be.
Like,
It won't. No, definitely not.
Find a supplier that makes and ships.
Yeah,
as
and
ordered.
they all do. I think that's pretty standard these days. I just want to talk to him just because I mean, you can read and all that crap, all these different websites, but it'd be nice to have some first-hand accounts. I know there's a few people that do it, so I think it'd be dope
Yeah,
to do it.
because usually when you talk to somebody, they go, "Oh yeah, I tried them. They suck. This is why they suck."
Yeah. So that's what I would like to get to is the first-hand comments, and I think even I want to touch base with oh Jesus, not Rich. Oh my God, fellow Canadian of mine, the dude that does the water.
Denver.
Blind Chronicles.
Yeah, Blind
Brian?
Chronicles. Yeah, because he was dealing with. I can't remember who he said he was dealing with, but he wasn't overly wild about it, just because of
I
the.
thought he just said Vistaprint or something.
Oh, it might have been. See, and Vistaprint's one of the ones that I've kind of looked into, and it's like they definitely do all the stuff, but they seem to be the more expensive
Yeah.
out of the group.
Well, they got to pay for all that advertising. So,
Right?
Yeah.
They don't print
No,
their
they're-
own
they're-
advertising.
They're definitely the top of the expense.
Yeah,
side.
so I'll look into that and check it out and see what's going down with that. But yeah, it would be really, really fun to do. I was trying to find a closing song. I don't know what I want to play for a closing song tonight. It's hard. I'm clicking through here. I'm trying to think about it. We'll have to figure. Let's see here. We could maybe go.
Oh.
We could just go with Fendel just because he's in here. We could probably find something Fendel-rific.
What about the guy that was just in there we were talking to? Not that I don't hearing some Pendle music, but
Oh, the House of the Model?
Yeah.
Sure. Let's just.
anything by them?
Yeah, I could probably whip something up from them. We'll just punch that in the old computer
yeah.
typey machine. Yeah, and so
I'd love to bring Paulie up and talk to him, but I don't have another 2 hours.
we'll be going for another. Well, my phone definitely does not have another. I'm really actually shocked. This is only the second time that this has ever happened. I guess I probably could have went and charged it, but we've already got we're there. We're there.
You've got like the soundboard and shit plugged into it, so you can't
Yeah,
charge
no,
it while it's
that's
on, right?
no, and the other one just no, and the other one just started to flash at me too. So the soundboard one was the first one that started, but my iPhone 14 is the one that's actually running the space. Yeah, the other one I could unplug the soundboard from no problem and charge it, and we would be okay. But my other phone, the main phone that runs the space, is also. But I guess I could plug that one in. What am I fucking saying? Man, I'm just a disaster.
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyways, all right, let's find something from House of the Model. Yeah, so next week, for those of you that are in here and maybe listening to the recording a little bit later on, next week we have One of One Neo, and tentatively, once we confirm it, we will likely have Dehisense the following week after that. So lots more up and coming, lots of great things. Fendel's back in action. He sent his family away, so he's going to hang out with us a little bit longer, a little bit more often. We're going to take that out of his paycheck. Like we got paychecks.
Subtract from zero.
One day, hey man, one day it would be.
Us.
I was going to say one day it would be an honor to be able to say that we have to take some pay away from somebody, because that would mean we're actually paying people and making money. That would be fantastic.
That would be fun,
right?
Actually. That would be great.
Here we are talking about taking away pay, and we're like, yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh, fuck. I was here Googling House of the Model, and I'm clicking through, and I was trying to find this one track I wanted to play, and then I'm like, why can't I find it? But it's like my computer is totally gone. I've somehow ended up in like some other collection. Didn't even belong to House of the Model. What else was I saying? We got coming up next week, the week after.
We still have some pre-records we need to do, but I don't know what we're going to do.
Well, winter's coming, man. Winter's coming. It'll happen. We'll get time in the winter time. Yeah, Tape Loop City. I just realized that I'm going through the House of the Model. That's probably where I found House of the Model first, was through Tape Loop City. Where did I find Tape Loop City? I don't know. Could have been through Vendel. Who knows? Any number of rabbit holes that I've ever gone down. I am not having any goddamn luck finding anything here right now. Like, I am brain dead. I mean, I only had one glass of wine tonight, and like maybe 2 puffs like 2 hours ago. So, all right, I'm going to go back into my main collection, and the very first musical piece that I find is what we're going to have for our closing song, which will all be good because I don't buy crap. I'll tell you that right now. I only curate my wallet with the finest Web3 music.
True that.
That is true, And then even then, now I'm going to go, well, what do you want to play? I'll figure it out here. Clam Sucker.
And that threesomes piece you sold, it was the same piece that I was thinking of, and you cleared what I paid for. So
I cleared.
Right. We did talk about that.
I cleared what you paid for it?
Yeah, after royalties and everything were taken out, what you took home is what I had paid for it days before.
Oh, okay.
So you made a good choice.
Yeah, I think when I did it, I was actually doing it very, like, I was looking at the history and seeing what was going on while people were grabbing it, and I thought I was making a good choice. That was good. Yeah, I've had a couple people DM me and reach out to me about buying some of my pieces in my collection. I just tell them all the same thing. I'm like, I'm just hanging on. Right? Remember the moments of when I was in the Threesomes project, and I mean, hey, that's the thing with that stuff. I mean, don't want to hang on to it forever, but paying attention when you start seeing like crazy offers going out and people buying up stuff, well, look into it. And maybe it's time to list 1 or 2.
Yeah, and if people are still DMing you, probably a good indicator to not sell to them.
Yeah, right.
And go to the open market.
The only thing I'm really happy of is I'm really happy that Studio Brooke has not DM'd me, because I'd be a sucker for her if that, it's gonna be pretty hard to say no to Studio Brooke. She'd be all sweet talking me, telling me how short I am.
No, it's easy. You say no.
Yeah.
You say no, Brooke. No.
No, Brooke.
That's
no.
not my price.
No, Brooke. No. Well, I've held on to that stuff for this long, so. All right, I'm going to go into page 8 of my object folder, and the first song I see is... Okay. Page 9. There was no music on page 8. Okay, I got this now. Here we go. We're getting in here, and page 8, and there's really, that's amazing that I could go into some of these pages and there's not any tunes on there. All right, so we're gonna play a Hash Brown piece as our closing out song tonight.
Some people have no idea how hard it is to talk about nothing for 20 minutes while you're looking for a song.
Well, especially when you just spent 3.5 hours talking.
Exactly.
Right? It's hard to click. It's hard to talk and click. Like, come on, let's face the facts here. It's why you're not allowed to fucking it's why you're not allowed to text and drive, right? Let's just be honest about that here. Anyways, I'm ready to sign out, my man. If you're ready to sign out, I'm good with that. If you're good with that. Fendel?
Yeah, I'm good.
Thanks, homie, for coming in and chatting with us tonight. It was really good to have you up again, buddy, for sure. We missed you the last couple of weeks, but, being with family is very important, and, we're definitely not the center of the universe. We're pretty close. You can definitely see us from there, but we're not the center of the universe. So happy you had a good time with that. Paldi, thanks for joining us. Thanks, everybody, for joining us and hanging out. Next week, One of One Neo will be here. So
check out the replay, Paldi. It's a good one.
Yeah, it was a good space. Creatress was an amazing guest. Appreciated having her, and that was really an honor to have her on and speaking with us. And she probably left us with more questions than answers. So hopefully we'll talk with her again. Until
like an episode of Lost.
Right. Until next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, the train's coming into the station. We've had a good night tonight. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a really good week. We'll see you next week. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Have a good night. Of course, it had to be a long delay for me hitting play on this too, right? It's just the cream. It's just the cherry on top of the whole thing.
I thought you were lined up, man.
No, it's doing the circle of death for some damn reason. I was lined up. I was on it.
They say I should do this, I don't want to. Say I should be that, but yo, I don't want to. Say I should go there, but yo, I don't want to. So I'm gonna do what I want to. They say I should do this, I don't want to. Say I should be that, but yo, I don't want to. Say I should go there, but yo, I don't want to. So I'm gonna do what I want to. They say I should do this, I don't want to. Say I should be that, but yo, I don't want to. Say I should go there, but yo, I don't want to. So I'm gonna do what I want to. They say I should do this, I don't want to. Say I should be that, but yo, I don't want to. Say I should go there, but yo, I don't want to. So I'm gonna do what I want to.